This is the tale of a man who continues to defy fate.
I don't have anything big brain.
What the What?
So.
Watch. What the What's former favorite anime, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann,
count?
is on the line in this discussion. Craftsdwarf is a poopy dumb idiot, and Vindy is a rat, a pig mole rat. What lies in store for these three as they go into this podcast?
Three, two, one.
今夜もミュージックトレイン君へのラッキートレイン笑い合って抱き合って幸せにほらなれるように
ギガードリルブレイカー
Alright.
Drill break.
Welcome everyone to the Weeb Club. This time on the backlog, we watched Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. It was my pick. I think we've all seen it before.
We have. I've seen it twice before, actually, and you guys have actually seen it more.
I've seen it
I haven't seen the entire thing
10 times.
before, except for once. But I've seen
Okay,
the first
so
half, I think, 5 times.
Okay, so you watched the first half way more than me, but
10 times.
Yeah. I think, if you go by episodes watched, Vindy, you've watched it more than me, but if you go by the whole show, I've watched it more than you, so...
Yeah. Well, because we'll talk about why, but...
10
Well, we'll
times.
see.
Yeah, we know, you've watched it 10 times, okay.
Well, first I'll say next time we are reading Sora no Toshimono, which is by the author of Plunder, except he did it first, so it's going to be Kino.
Perhaps.
I'm looking forward to it because I love Plunder. So yeah, there's just gonna be more tits. So I'm like, yeah, tits.
It's gonna be a reread for me, but you know.
And this is the first time for me and Vindy. Just wanted to get that way before, because I also want, obviously we're gonna do the non-spoiler part, but I think, because I wonder, I don't like, because Gurren Lagann I guess is more like accessible. Like I'm pretty sure it's been on Netflix and stuff, but I still don't know like if it's as like must watch today as it was, especially in like 2007 and the following
When
years.
I was getting into anime and like
it still was.
2016, it was still a must-watch.
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
It's been a must-watch because everybody fucking talks about it. It's motherfucking Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, so it's like, come on, boys.
Well, everyone talks wrong about it, and we'll talk about why. Because
we'll talk about
that every single person who talks about Gurren Lagann is wrong.
Yeah, best guy ever made a goddamn like super long video about it, and people are still saying wrong things.
And that
about
video is good. Like that video is true information.
I watched that video literally once, but like so much of that video is like literally, and years ago, like this would have been 2016, and yet so many of the points and arguments in that video I still like very clearly remember going into the show, and I was able to notice things, and like,
But nobody fucking paid attention to it and are still stupid about it.
Yeah, if you somehow haven't watched it, best guy ever did, like it's now buried under literally like years of video
garbage
vlogs. Yeah, I haven't watched it. So.
Well, I guess you're talking vlog because that's someone else here does those. And
no, I'm just saying like
bad.
No, I don't have a problem with. I just haven't watched his like. I watched some of it when he started it, and then whatever. But obviously none of it matters. The best video he's done is Best Anime Ever Gurren Lagann. It's a 2-parter. The first one's like an AMV. Well, I've watched that one more because it's literally just an AMV and it's cool. But it has, and then the second part is the analysis and breakdown of the show and dealing with common stupid things people say and tying them all together in the main point of the show, and it's good.
Well, I assume I'm not planning to bring that video up at all, and I assume we'll probably make a lot of the points he does here, just because like I haven't seen the video and I don't remember that much of it. But I assume we'll probably bring up a lot of the points because I feel like a lot of what he says about Gurren Lagann isn't that like insane. It's just that like
it's just
the show
facts.
is really obvious, but people just don't pay attention.
This man be speaking straight facts is literally just the video.
Well, especially because Gurren Lagann's an anime that's dub is okay, so people even doubly so when they watch something dubbed.
All right, hold on. Its dub is probably one of the best that I've heard, if only because it matches the energy of the show pretty well. Unlike other shows that just like. Gurren Lagann's dub is unironically.
But why would I not want to hear Japanese Kamino? Why would I not want to hear Japanese?
Why would I
Simon?
like?
Why would I not want to hear Japanese Nia?
Well, because you could just
the English Nia is good casting. Yeah,
Starfire plays Nia, man.
Like, look, I haven't watched this dub in literally like over half a decade easy. But like,
is it better than the sub? But is it better than
I would still think of Starfire's voice when hearing Japanese Nia because it was
probably.
such a because I also watch Teen Titans a lot. So and they're both very similar of this out of place alien character who does I mean Nia's not an alien, but to the humans, and so that it's more than just Nia. It's more like other thing, the other character Starfire as well. So I think of that. I was still thinking about that voice a lot watching the show. I didn't have that with the other voices from the show, or from the dub that I watched. I watched the dub twice. That's the thing. This is my first time watching the sub, and
so the better version.
I do like, so I'm not going to watch the dub again, but Nia's is the one voice where I'm like, maybe the dub was as good as better, which is weird because, like, I usually don't like the English voices at all, especially for girls. Girls,
normally
guys,
I think cute girls are ruined.
No,
exactly.
Like, Nia's voice is so perfect in the dub.
To be fair though, Teen Titans has some cute. Ooh, look, young me watching Teen Titans seeing a Raven. I felt some things I don't know how to describe. Let's just.
Well, we're gonna move on now because I don't think anybody knows this. I don't think I've said it enough times to point this out. The literal only reason Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann is not my favorite anime of all fucking time is because I got corrupted by Love Live. That is the only reason why it's not number one anymore.
And there's there's a super high praise from someone who really likes the show. Speaking as the one who likes it the least, I have a history of because I said I watched it twice. In high school, I had this really stupid, dumb opinion. Well, I mean, Vindy's gonna be like, but you're right though, because I just sort of I didn't think anime was worth the time because most of what I'd seen was like bad mid adaptations.
God, I
manga
wish we had a high school Craftsdwarf who was smarter.
And because at the time, at the time, my favorite manga were One Piece, Liar Game, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and 20th Century Boys, and all these shows either had no adaptation or no good adaptation. So, do you really want high school Craftsdwarf here? Let me say that again.
I would have liked talking to high school Craftsdwarf about how terrible Liar Game is and screaming at him until he cries.
I probably I know. But anyway, but I watched Gurren Lagann, which because I was unfortunate at the time, and it was people they had the fucking main theme playing on B one point. Everyone loved it. It was big. It was huge. Everyone and I watched it. And I was like, 7/10. It's good. And then a year or so later, I rewatched it. Yep, 7 out of 10, still good. It didn't get me into anime, even though and now I rewatching it for the third time. I like it a lot. I appreciate it. I'd still only give it an 8, which is a good score. I like the show, but and I think the show is a must watch. Even though I still only would give it an 8, I think everyone should give it a shot. It's one I've recommended to my brother and my friend, people who aren't super into anime, watch Gurren Lagann because
unlike other mecha, Gurren Lagann's about the characters.
I'm going to shoot you.
I'm going to kill you.
But I think it's a great entry title. You have Best Guys Ever Video. He makes one point in it I don't agree with, but it's not even about Gurren Lagann.
What does he say? Tell me.
He says that Gurren Lagann, it's all other super robot shows. They just have the willpower be the end all be all. Where Gurren Lagann actually Getter Robo exists.
I was saying, imagine not reading Getter and talking about other super robots.
Right? Exactly.
Okay. Here's the thing. Gurren Lagann got me to read Getter Robo because I was hearing all the influence that it had. And I read Getter Robo. Getter Robo is literally basically the same moral, but
well, we'll talk about it more, but Getter Robo, Getter Rays and Spiral Energy are literally the same thing, pretty much, except Spiral Energy is, it's because it's based on spirals, it's framed better within the show, as a visual
Getter Rays and dinosaurs.
And as a symbol, basically. Well, Getter, it's evolution, basically.
We thought she was Kamina before
Getter Robo, the author fucking died, so the manga didn't end conclusively, and because I'll talk about that a bit later, because because this is also the first time I've watched Gurren Lagann, because I deliberately read Getter Robo before rewatching it, and I've also read Ashitanoja twice. So those two, which are to my knowledge the two biggest narrative influences. There's some design influences like Zambot 3, which has if you look at the helmet of the Zambot 3 mech, it's literally just it's a lot like the Gurren Lagann mech helmet that he takes from Viral.
It's what Evangelion
it's just a visual reference. It's not a it's just a visual reference. It doesn't. I probably don't need to see the show to understand. So I have that in mind, and maybe, but I actually like the show more. So I'm not saying I don't know. I think I was going somewhere with it, but
what I love is that Gurren. The thing, Here's the thing where I have to say that anime fans are stupid again, where any fan base of any fan base is full of stupid people miss the point. Gurren Lagann. When people usually when people watch Gurren Lagann, they think that it's different from every other mecha. When literally part of the point of Gurren Lagann is that's celebrating everything about super robots and the mecha in general. And it's got influences from all over the place, and it maximizes all of them because it's like.
Right. Oh, them. I don't know if I said this or if I cut myself off with tangents, but the author of Get a Robo just fucking died while writing his manga, so it never actually got a conclusion, and Gurren Lagann does, and I can kind of see how maybe this is the same, a conclusion. I'll talk about it later when we get into spoilers, but it's Gurren Lagann's again, speaking as the person who likes it least, I still think it's a must watch. That was my main point.
Get a Robo is Chadley because they fight dinosaurs. And they don't fight dinosaurs in Gurren Lagann, and that's sad.
Shit, 0 out of 10.
What?
What do you think about Musashi, Vindy?
Musashi's great. I actually
fucking
adore Musashi. Yeah. There is a panel in Get a Robo, I don't have it on hand, where the man says, fuck dinosaurs, and is crashing a dinosaur's head. He's fucking sculling with a rock, okay?
It's great. Holy shit. Oh.
I would say not only is Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann a must-watch, Get a Robo is a must-read.
No, look, you have to... Gurren Lagann almost basically encourages you to go experience Get a Robo and Ashita no Joe and everything else that's inspired by, right? It's basically telling you. It's so... Ugh.
But what the what? Those are old manga, and I don't like old things. Old is bad, new is good.
Look, you know what's crazy is that Gurren Lagann, I was watching it again, it literally looks like it could come out today.
Yeah,
no, that's one thing
because I about the visuals of it.
I think the visuals are great. Yeah.
See, I wanted to bring up the Imai. Here's the one thing I will say about Gurren Lagann. After having watched, because when I haven't seen Gurren Lagann since I watched Kill la Kill and Promare. Gurren Lagann is very clearly the Imaishi work that leans the least into his style. Not that Imaishi's style isn't there, but when you compare it to Kill la Kill and you compare it to Promare, it leans the least into it. And I think that might be part of the reason why it's your favorite Imaishi work. Because I do think you're just wrong about Kill la Kill when you say that there isn't much style or substance in it compared to the style. And I think Gurren Lagann leans less into that style, so it's easier to notice the substance.
Well.
I guess someone's just gonna have to pick Kill la Kill for the Weeb Club in their next long thing. And we'll just have to see.
Please don't. I
want to rewatch it.
I don't want to watch the 6 out of 10 for the third time.
But I wanted to see. There was a lot of little things I noticed, but I guess I don't. Because I was ready to discuss this show last week, but things happened, so we couldn't. So it's a little less fresh in my mind. For some reason, the only one I remember is in. It was in episode 9 or 10. I think it was 9 or 10, where they get a character is thinking with their dick basically, and their giant ship that's shaped like a dick is as they travel out is it's framed in a way that you see it looks phallic, and I thought it's just a little visual gag that matched what the character was doing, and I thought it was funny and just good visuals all around. I think, and the style, except episode 4.
Okay.
Episode
if there
4
is
good.
There are two flaws. There are two hard flaws in this entire show.
One of them is a spoiler we can't talk about.
One flaw is fucking.
Can I rant about that second flaw, please? Can I please rant about it?
Well, yeah.
I want to be the one to rant about it.
We'll talk. Yeah, episode 4. For some reason, and Craftsdwarf mentioned this when he watched it again, and I've always thought this because I can never finish that episode on rewatch. It's because for some reason, there's a lot of people talking about why there was a different director who was in charge of that episode specifically.
It was an outsourced episode.
Yeah, and
okay, I heard someone step down from Gainax because of that episode.
Yeah,
is what I remember. So this was years ago though. So
it was
there's a story behind it basically. But
thankfully, the entire staff stepped down from Gainax after the show. So
damn. No, but episode 4 is not only animated worse. But for some reason, the writing is worse.
No, because I feel like there's a point to the episode that they had to have in the episode by the overall director. But how they handle the point is there's two conflicts going around on the episode. they're not integrated at all together.
And the problem is it's an actual important episode if you haven't seen the show.
It introduces one of the most important characters in the entire show, and introduces Gurren Lagann's, like, the way they transform, and for some reason they fuck it up. Like,
right, and that's what I'm saying is, like, the problem is you can't just say, like, oh, well, skip episode 4, because, like, if you haven't seen the show, it's an extremely important episode.
It's painful.
But it also sucks. So if you
it's not like the Hot Springs episode, but even in the Hot Springs episode, it's actually fucking funny and hilarious.
Yeah, I love it. Fucking great.
Hot Springs episode is one of my favorites from the early part of the show
because it's fucking funny.
It's so great. It's so great. I love that episode. It's probably the funniest the show is for me, honestly. I mean, Vindy, it's just a comedy episode.
The funniest moment in the show is when Kamina.
Vindy.
Yeah.
What do you think Craftsdwarf thinks about Gimme and Dari in this episode?
Oh, we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I've been waiting on that, but we gotta get to spoilers. So I assume most people have seen Gurren Lagann, but I feel like when we want to actually get into the show and into the meat of the discussion, we should probably just move into spoilers as soon as possible.
Well,
I mean, we've already given the show a hearty recommendation. I'm trying to think of, like, what else. Oh, the soundtrack. It was one of the first soundtracks I downloaded.
It's so good. Okay, here's the thing.
The problem is the soundtrack peaks at episode 11.
I hate you, but you're a fucking dick. But, like, I remember people were saying that "Libera Me from Hell" is, like, overused. When I was watching it
that
again.
Was literally me.
Yeah, it's literally only the last 3 episodes.
No, that's the only reason it bothered me, because it plays in, like, every single one of the last, like, 3 or 4 episodes.
But it's
played, I was like, okay, you can stop now, please.
There's no other OST that could be played during these scenes.
It literally doesn't play until then.
Like, yeah, it's during these 3 moments when it's used. I don't think of any other OST that could be played, because, like, "Libera Me from Hell" is just like, I
mean, I also listened to it a lot, like, ages ago, so I'm just kind of tired of it now. So that might have also been part of it.
Do the impossible, see the invisible. Row, fight the power, touch the untouchable, break the unbreakable.
Okay, so I want to mention something because that song is kind of like synonymous with Gurren Lagann. Like, it's kind of a meme in itself. What I thought was really funny watching the show is the first time that song plays is during the Hot Spring episode.
Is it the Hot Springs? I was gonna bring that up. Look, I didn't take many notes for Gurren Lagann.
No. So
the one note I have is the fact that it plays "Libera Me from Hell" while they're trying to spy on the Hot Springs.
No, "Libera Me from Hell." It's a different version of "Libera Me from Hell."
But it plays. It's said, "Row, fight the power" is said while they're trying to spy in the Hot Springs, and then it also plays the moment where one of them goes over the Hot Springs. It plays the song that first plays when they, like, come out of the ground, out of, like, Giha Village. It plays that song. The song choices in that scene are peak fucking comedy.
We're in Lagann, man.
No, God. It's like, yeah, it's a really well put together show. Like, I absolutely see why people, adore this show, even if it just doesn't get me emotionally in the same ways.
Here's the bigger question: how does anyone not like this show?
Well, you see, the problem is, right, the only good character dies in episode 8.
Oh, you're right.
And it's boring politics in the second half, so just watch the second movie.
Look. For years, like, back when
Okay. You know what? Here's what I'm gonna say. Before anyone says another fucking word, spoilers, go to the fucking time on the screen. Go.
Okay, I was about to say. Okay. That's tweaking.
So, okay, listen. I watched the goddamn Glass Reflection review of this show. It is probably one of the worst videos on the internet, because he literally says something about, like, Gurren Lagann was good, but then Sima just became a copy of Kamina when Kamina died, and then
he's worse than him.
Yeah, and then shut the fuck up. Anyway, and then he said the second half of Gurren Lagann is where the show falls apart, because it starts talking about the human condition. But I just wanted to get back to the explosions. Yeah,
which is weird, because part 2, like, the enemies turn into explosions, so there's objectively more explosions.
Like, if there's more explosions in part 2 than there were in part 1 by a long shot. Like, I don't understand. Listen, I love the fuck out of part 2. But the only reason why part 2 is as good as it is because of part 1. Gurren Lagann, in both its structure and its themes and how the characters grow,
You know what it is?
To the spiral!
It is multiple parts that all tie together to make a single point that is Gurren Lagann. It's a drill.
That spiral together. Mark my words, this drill will be a path for those who will fall. No, shit, I fucked it up.
It's step by step. We
will
each
open a
move
path
forward.
in the universe. The hope.
Here. You know what? I'm pulling up the fucking scene because you don't know the fucking quote.
I know. I'm losing my mind.
I'll pull up the quote. Don't worry.
Do it. Oh no, I'll look up the quote.
I'm literally pulling up the fucking.
No,
scene
I'm gonna
right
look
now.
it up. I hate you.
Pulling up the scene. I literally have the scene pulled up. I'm literally clicking on it right now. Okay.
No.
1 second.
You're wrong.
Into the episode.
No. Yeah. You know what it is? Vindy Vondo. Vindy Vondo.
Yeah, it's here he is.
Mark my words, this drill will open a hole in the universe, and that hole will be a path for those behind us, the dreams of those who have fallen, the hopes of those who will follow. Those two paths weave together to form a double helix, drilling a path towards tomorrow. That's Tengen Toppa. That's Gurren Lagann. My drill is the drill that will pierce the heavens.
Do you know what peeking your mic is? Because you just did it a shit.
His drill is the drill that will peak his fucking microphone.
And that's coming from someone who peaks his mic quite a bit.
I love Gurren Lagann.
So here's the thing. Okay, what? Okay. So we both know Craftsdwarf thinks part 1 is better than part 2.
Yeah, I know.
Objectively. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to tell you how I thought.
Cunt.
No.
Cunt.
What?
I haven't even explained why.
No, I want to explain myself first because okay, here's the thing, what? I gotta level with you. I cried more in part 1 than I did in part 2.
I know why. It's because Kamen is your fucking favorite character.
I was a fucking sobbing mess in part 1 rewatching this show. However, when I watch part 1 of Gurren Lagann, I can stop. I can watch a couple episodes, go do something, come back, watch a couple more. The second I turn on episode 17, I am locked into Gurren Lagann until I watch episode 27. I cannot turn this show off for 11 episodes in a row. I have to sit at my fucking desk and watch a show because something about part 2 and the way it is just, I can't stop watching it. Like, it starts and I can't stop. And that's why I watch it less than part 1 because I have to watch part 2 in one sitting.
Because here's my reasoning, right? Because like when you look at the way it's structured, again, when I say that Gurren Lagann is in every way tied to that theme of a drill in almost every single aspect, part 1 is building blocks. You can even argue that maybe it's sort of episodic in some cases, right? Because the style of part 1 is more in line with things you'd see like back when like if you read Getorobo. It's literally structured like that. But then once it builds up all those elements and it starts building these things up, when you get to part 2, everything's already in motion. So many things have been built up that it just goes. It doesn't stop because the drill keeps digging.
The drill has dug. Understand?
Dug.
English.
Yeah, you heard that. You heard that, right, Craftsdwarf?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I said the drill is dug so far.
I want to hear Craftsdwarf's thoughts on Gurren Lagann because I want what to get.
Because look, I know anyone who says part 2 like that shouldn't exist or isn't good is stupid. I like both. But to explain why I definitely prefer part 1 is a few reasons. One is like for a minor one, it's honestly the action because like for especially the first half of part 2,
no, he's gonna say it. Really quickly, Craftsdwarf. One second. I told What last night. There is a trigger you can say that will actively piss me off, and I'm worried you're gonna say it. But keep going.
Well, it's like the only thing they're fighting is this one spiral thing, and it's like a puzzle, and yeah, it works thematically for a few reasons. But it's just like they fight. It's gonna blow up. Oh, we stopped it from blowing. Like it's not interesting compared to the gunmen, which are varied. They're cool designs. They're just cooler and more fun to see fighting. And like I like the second half it's more varied and that's good. But the part one is more varied throughout, and it ends with episode 15, which is my favorite action scene in the show. Because, holy shit, like, fucking Lord Genome just goes, you know, Lazengon, I'm just gonna get out of you and start beating up Simon.
That is so good. Look, it's such a Chad move that he goes like, I can't trust this stupid fucking robot to beat your ass, and he breaks the lid off and punches Lagann in the face.
That is how Lord Genome lost for the same reasons that the Anti-Spiral lost.
Well, yeah, because I noticed that about the name is Zen. It's, you know, a meditative state of, like, self-restraint. Like, he's Lagann, but with Zen in there. But yeah, he lost, yeah, he got hyped. He even said that later, I think, where he got, you know, he's supposed to be restrained, but he ended up, like, getting caught up into the pace of, like...
what I mean is specifically that, like, the reason the Anti-Spiral lost, even though they were literally God, was because they tried to create absolute despair in, the humans and in all the Spiral races by beating them as an equal. And the reason that Lord Genome lost is because he wanted to create absolute despair in humans and gets out of Lazengon to beat Simon with his fists.
Okay, yeah.
Well, there's
it's
more
literally
to that.
the same thing, just in part 2, it's on a larger scale.
There's more. There's a little more.
Well, so anyway, to go back to my reasons
I
to
just
why
want to make that one observation. What the fuck?
That's fair.
Okay, there's a lot of goddamn.
There's a lot to talk about in the show. Like, it's a good show. Honestly, the other thing is that, like, is the characters. So I like Simone. Like, my top 2 characters are Simone and Nia. My number 3 character is Kamina, and then I would put, like, you know, Lord Genome, Viral, you know, Rosa and Yoko. But, like, my thing is, like, you know, like, Viral, he gets his best stuff from part 2, 100%. Lord Genome gets good stuff in both parts. Simone gets good stuff in both parts. But for my 2 and 3 favorite characters, like, Kamina, like, his death is obviously great for the show, but he gets a lot of his good stuff in part 1, and, you know, the one scene in part 2. Nia, like, basically everything good about her is in part 1. Like, and... You know, and
God,
like,
what a fucking genius!
Look, she's good in the first episode of part 2, and then she just doesn't exist. And honestly, I think like because when Kamina died, I got teary eyed. The other moment of the show, I got teary eyed. Episode 11 when Simone gets the fuck back up, but like I should have cried in the last episode. And I'm gonna tell you why I didn't, and and this is the thing I think. This is where I think the show could have been better, because Nia not being in the second part, like, you know, like the show works because of that. So I can't even complain about that, even though I would have I just like Nia, and of course I'd love to see more of her because she's great and best girl. But my thing with like her, specifically her death scene, is like at the end of the day, what Simone and Nia are doing in that last scene is they're making a hard decision, and we don't. Like, I can't connect to a fictional character with the power of a god who decides not to use that power. Like, but I can connect to a person who has to make a hard choice, and we don't see him making a hard choice. We see him just making the choice. Like, we don't... The difficulty of it is never... Like, I never felt that from that scene, especially compared to earlier in part 2, where, like, the moment where Rossi was, like, breaking down in his office over, like, the choices that he's having to make, like... That is a character who's making difficult choices and struggling over it, but we don't see that for Simone and Nia, and I kind of wish we did. And I didn't cry during the last, even though my second favorite character died and my favorite character lost the most important, like one of the most important people in his life, basically. So like that, you know, like part 2 has a lot of good stuff, but it's stuff like that where like when I think about my favorite moments of the show, part 1 has most of them, and you know when I think about that. What would fix that? I mean, even just like a little cut. I've seen the movie. I don't remember.
Okay, the second. Okay, I think I told this because Vindy was thinking about watching the movie. The first movie doesn't do shit. Maybe adds like one scene at the beginning that adds like a flashback of Lord Genome fighting in the Spiral Wars, and like
wasn't that in one of the Spiral works, the AMVs they did?
This wasn't the first movie. It shows like a flashback. Well,
they also did it in
Spiral
one
Wars.
and they did. Okay, anyway,
which is why like. Even though I don't like the movies as much, you still should watch them because they add on to the show.
I dropped the first movie but I finished, and that maybe impacted my watching of the second part a lot, because like even though obviously the second part is like more full and fleshed out, there were parts that the movie added that I remembered, and the fact that they weren't there like when they beat the Spiral King, I was thinking of the fist fight, but that was in the movie. Not in the anime, they just the Lagann drills through Spiral King is Lord Genome. God, I did it too. You did it earlier. The anti-spiral, right? I think King, because he's the one above all. Anyway, but yeah, like because in the anime they just Lagann drills through the anti-spiral and that's it. And I was like getting hyped for the fist fight, and then the fist fight didn't happen. So I'm like, oh, okay, you know.
Well, okay. So, movie 1, but the only thing it adds is that flashback of Lord Genome. Lord Genome, like in the flashback, you see that Lord Genome not only didn't like just lose, he snapped.
Yeah, I know that.
And realized that like he had to stop them in the only way he could by killing all of his fellow spirals.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that's one thing. The only thing that the first movie adds, because the first movie also ruins Simon becoming a man, because it like smashes together that.
Let's go back to the original point. What does the second movie add to solve my issue?
I can tell you exactly what it does. It adds a little. Well, okay, I don't know how to solve your issue.
It's so good what it adds though, because it's Nia writing letters to Kamina.
The flowers thing.
The second movie adds a Chad called Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
No.
I've watched the second movie.
I know.
No, listen. The second movie adds Nia writing letters to Kamina, where she's like just talking about like what they've went through, like why she like all the things she does, like supporting Simon and all that shit. Like what it like. She's like writing to. I have to watch it again because
I don't remember that. So that sounds good, but
it's
good. See, at the same time, it's like why I just wish it was in the TV show because they are separate works at the end of the day.
Yeah,
so
my biggest issue at this point with Gurren Lagann, in terms of because I've seen I watched the final fight from the second movie, is that the final fight in the second movie is just so much like okay, people who say watch the second movie are retarded. You can
if they say it to watch it over the second half of the show, but watch the second half and then at some point watch the movie. Sure, why not?
Well, I think you should because I think, like, okay, if someone wanted to say right, watch all of Gurren Lagann, like the show, but when you get to episode 27, turn on movie 2 and just watch the final fight in movie 2. Honestly, fair enough, because the final fight in movie 2 is just the final fight for movie 1, but it does it better. Or is the final fight for the show,
I was even thinking,
but it does it better.
Because one thing I've thought about before is like doing, because people do it for like the Star Wars movies or something, well, like the prequels, like they'll do fan cuts of the movies. And so what if there was a fan cut of episode 27 or maybe even just multiple episodes of where it's just it cuts in the extra movie stuff like the Nia stuff and the anti-spiral fight, like the better one.
There's one thing about the movie 2 that it does that I don't like, how it like doesn't kill off the other members of Team Daiguren.
That is a problem. I agree.
Like that I don't like because
if you watch through 27, you know they're already dead. So it's not
but like okay, there's just that's what
I guess it would create a contradiction.
You have to watch both. You have to watch both because the deaths of Team Daiguren work so well because right after they die, Simon's about to like, thanks to your deaths, I'll remember this minute, this second, and then right when he's about to transform, they get plunged into a sea of despair. And then like the only way they get out is because Chadman Kitan sacrifices himself, right? And it's like that's why their deaths work. But in like. I remember there was like someone was complaining that Unga Bunga, why did all the members of Team Daiguren have a race to commit suicide? And I'm like, are you?
It's literally explained why. It's like, literally just stated. Like, I mean, here's the problem.
Look, I didn't feel anything for their deaths because I didn't know half their names, but like, I'm not going to say their deaths like
Jordan, Balbo, Kid, Irak, Zorthi.
Okay, you've seen the show 10 times. That doesn't count. I think that like, my problem really is that, okay, a lot of things in Gurren Lagann are very much stated directly, right? Like, everything
the one that got me, because I remembered it from, sorry to interrupt, hold that thought. The one that got me was in Best Guys Ever Video, he's like, spirals, the universe, DNA, and Lord Genome literally just fucking says it in, like, episode 16 or 17 when he's awakened and says, I'm like, it's literally said in the show. Sorry, go on, Vindy.
No, everything about Gurren Lagann, it's like when you say One Piece or Love Live is obvious, but it's actually obvious in Gurren Lagann. Gurren Lagann straight up tells you to your face how phenomenal of a show it is. It literally just says, hey, you know all these things? Let me just explain them. It will do symbolism and then later tell you that symbolism. okay, it will show you that Lord Genome's fucking drills point downwards and Simon's drill points upwards, and then later it will show you in a courtroom scene Rossiu looking downwards and Simon looking upwards. It is so insanely obvious, and we'll mention how Simon is someone who is constantly looking up. They are always looking to break that ceiling of the moon, right? But then you have Rossiu, who is looking down at the people below him. They are both at the top of the biggest building in Communist City. Simon is still looking up, and it shows you Rossiu is still looking down. And people still somehow fucking miss it, even though the show could not make it any more blatant, other than, like, if Imai Ishii walked out of the television and sat down next to someone and explained it to them. Because,
Vindy,
like, the characters just tell you everything.
Can I tell you how triggered, like, okay, I have a real friend, and you've heard, we were watching Premiere, and, for years, he told me that Gurren Lagann second half is bad, because, Chad King Buddha turning into a human is cringe, and
that was, like, one of the most Kino moments.
Yeah, it is. It's so good. But
I don't like the design.
Well, fuck you.
You know what? I like to think that when rodents turn into humans, they're cool. Okay?
You know, never mind. I take back my defense. But anyway, he then also says that Simon should have just brought everybody back to life.
That's...
Ooh. That's what I mean.
Everybody who watches it... Have you just sat him down and been like, hey, can you watch these 30 seconds where a character
Vindy,
literally asks Simon...
I've literally had this debate with him for years, and he will not accept it.
Here, and I'm going to explain it without talking about Gurren Lagann, because I want to bring up the influences like before. So... to spoil something from Getter Robo, probably my favorite part about the manga is the kind of existential horror of Getter, because basically the point of Getter Robo is evolution. Like, the dinosaur empire is angry at humans because humans were chosen to evolve and they weren't, so they're stagnants. There's, like, demons who are affected by aliens because Getter, like, then there's, like, robots who are anti-life. Robots can't evolve; they're just robots.
Basically, everybody who's against evolution is the villain.
Right, But then we see in the later parts of Getter Robo is that we see the future where the Getter Emperor is literally going around the entire universe,
absorbing everything,
systematically destroying anything that it doesn't choose. So, like, there's an existential horror aspect to it, and even the human characters are starting to question, like, if this is right. Like, basically, Getter Emperor is Spiral Nemesis, or basically, where it's going to destroy the universe. But the series never gets to the point where it actually starts to really question it and really examine the opposite side, where Gurren Lagann is doing so basically from the beginning. So basically, if you want to know why Simon doesn't bring people back to life, Getter Emperor is horrifying. That's why.
Well, okay.
Well, the reason
I think the best way we can do this. Can we go episode by episode?
No.
No, please. I want to, because okay. So
make your goddamn fucking episode title argument now. I know
No. We'll do. Okay, so first thing I want to say is episode 5 is literally the conflict of the series embodied.
Yeah. Well, even before then, like, because like I was noticing, like with Kamina's dad, where like like we see Kamina's flaw through his dad, because his dad's like Kamina and his dad are the Simone Kamina the Rossiu Simone pair, where you have like Kamina's like, oh, maybe we should, he's the one pulling back, where Kamina's dad is like, go forward, but instead of like accepting that, he pushes Kamina away. He's like, come back to when you're ready, and then he fucking dies. What do you know? Kamina goes forward, dies. Like, that's just the risks of that path, so to speak. So, and it's like, right, like I said, right there from the beginning, the balance aspect to it, even though, like, obviously the show focuses mostly on the going forward because the main antagonists are the one who, pull back, but another thing is Atenboro, one of the minor characters I remember, because, like, not just because he's a meme, but also because, like, he's always
fucking great.
Well, he's always like, he even says, like, they even say a line where he's like, oh, whenever you do your missiles, they don't work. But when he gets direction, like, there's a part where he shoots spiral missiles when they're in the sea and they don't work, and then like try regular missiles. No, that's later when they're fighting anti-spiral. This is when they're in the sea of spiral of stuff that turns spiral energy into it drains it out. So he use regular missiles. He does it and it works. Like, he's the red, the go forward, but when he's held back even just a little, he's effective. So Like, it's throughout the show. The show is really well, like, written and constructed, and a lot of, like, we talked about the music a little bit before already. The visuals are also good. Like, it's a great show. Like,
okay, there is one. So you saw the epilogue scene where, like, old man Simon. There
course.
is literally one line that is the theme of the show entirely. The kid is trying to drill into the coconut and can't. He's pushing and pushing and pushing and can't. And Simon just says, push gently and let the drill do the work.
You're right. Yeah, I didn't think about that, actually.
It's so fucking...
What the fuck, Vindy? Why? No!
Vindy, I'm gonna kill you. What did you fucking put in here?
3 very good images. They're all good. My Gurren Lagann pictures have been collecting for years. Don't worry, I've been waiting.
I love the middle one.
Hadrogover.
Well, that one, the middle one must have been recent too, because that's a recent meme.
Yeah, and people in this server were like,
funny.
People in this server were like, I don't like that because Simon stops using spiral energy at the end of the series.
No, he doesn't.
It's a meme. It's supposed
direct
to.
Direct quote I saw people say, which is also not true. He doesn't stop using spiral
that's what
energy.
I mean. Everybody who watches this show is a fucking idiot.
Because
it's not about
literally
stop
the show makes
using,
the
it's
point
about
that
restraining
spiral
it,
energy
right.
isn't something that's in everyone.
Look, here's what I want to say. Something is like people who like. I feel like the more obvious and blatant a show, like the simpler the show seems, the more off people's brains are. And because they'll watch some shit like Hunter x Hunter and be like, the themes and the symbolism, this is the books you must read, and then they see.
I have like 3 major rants.
Sorry, I just laughed at Winchester.
I have 3 like big rants I really want to go on, and I don't know which one.
Well, first, speaking of like balance, you know, you have Jimmy and Derry. You have one who's balanced, and or one who goes forward, and one who's look.
Is Derry hot in part 2? Is Derry hot in part?
This is your answer.
Okay, thank you. That I wanted the yes because what and I agree she is. She's needed
super
the yes.
hot. Holy shit! What? Okay.
Look, how do you see that?
Also, did you know that? Okay, I'm gonna look. My brain's in full like fucking big brain mode.
Okay, before you go big brain mode, I need to go on an angry rant. Okay, look. Here is the thing. Okay, here's the fucking thing. You have Yoko in part 1, this hot, insane goddess. Okay, one of the best fucking character designs in all of it. If I could pick like a list of like 3 perfect women based on just design alone, Yoko is on there. She has a ponytail. She has a fat ass. She's wearing skimpy clothing. Her tits are like just big enough where they're not too big, but they're not too small. Okay.
They shake all the time.
They shake constantly. Okay. She's constantly showing off and is jealous and is feisty and is great. Okay. And then you get to part 2 and you get Miss Yomiko, which y'all are gonna be glasses. Miss Yomiko's hot.
Glasses.
Shut the fuck up.
Miss Yomiko's pretty hot.
Look, the ma in Yomiko is for my dick.
No, her hair is worse, but it's okay because Yomiko Sensei is still hot. And then you get the other Yoko where she has like the cool kind of coat.
The other
okay?
Yeah, that was the
jacket.
other
Yeah.
Okay, part 2
jacket,
Yoko where she's in her
if
classic outfit with the jacket
in part
is cool.
1, I would like it a lot. Her bikini's good. Her shorts still good. Still a lot of ass shots. And then they go to space. And I don't know if it's the zero gravity. I don't know what happened. But somehow Imaishi decided to give Yoko these torpedo titties that completely destroy one of the hottest characters in anime history. And I don't know what was going through his mind. Because he's made other hot girls, okay? He has Ryuko. He has fucking Aina from Promare, okay? Someone could even tell me fucking Lulu, okay? But then you have fucking Yoko, okay? The cream of the crop. The literal best girl he's ever done. And he ruined her and made her terrible when he gave her these massive torpedo titties. And is the biggest flaw with Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann is the fact that in...
Okay, we'll post a picture for real quick.
It is the fact that in movie 2, you see Yoko's tits. But you don't see hot Yoko's tits. You see space Yoko's tits.
Well, Vindy, post a picture of her real quick because there's more to just that than why her design is terrible.
Oh, well, that's my biggest issue. I don't like the torpedo titties. I think
No. Post it real quick because we could talk about that. Okay, so look at this thing, right? It's like, why does she have like her legs and her arms are almost completely covered for no reason? She has like a weird cape.
That's kind of hot. I
kind
of like that though.
No.
Especially on the legs. Oh my god, on the legs.
No, because
yes,
like
sir.
the way it's put together, it's like reverse what her outfit usually is for some reason or something like that. I don't understand why. It's the silhouette doesn't look good. Like it's just God, that's terrible.
I just don't know why Imaishi gave her torpedo titties.
But now post Space Simon.
No, I don't want to talk. Everyone else's design gets
Simon.
better when you get into space. That's all that matters.
Space Simon has one of my favorite character designs in all.
I don't like
anime.
his cummerbund.
I like how he has the fucking cool. His jacket is fucking cool.
His jacket's cool, right? I don't like the cummerbund as much as if I got to see his belly button.
Well, you're a fucking weirdo. Anyway, so all right. So this is big brain
there
shit.
was a moment in part 2 that made me cry.
Oh my god,
What part was it?
It was
Is it
Viral.
when you saw Space Yoko and you got to... Oh my god, was it when Viral had a family in his universe?
He just was like this edgy warrior guy, but no, he just wants he just wants to have this capability of evolution like the humans, but not that specifically for that reason, but because of what comes with it. Like, that hurt.
And it's even when, like, you see he's like upset because he cannot use spiral power to save, like, to help Simon. Simon is generating all the spiral power and he can't help, and it's only when Buddha comes in to save him.
Look, okay. God, okay, so I need... Ooh, it's big brain time, boys. It's big brain time. So, I told you two that the episode titles are unironically actually important to this show.
Well, you've told me what they are, but yeah.
I haven't heard it yet.
So, do you realize what the titles are?
If you asked me to name a title, I would fail you.
They're quotes from characters that are important to Simon at each point in the arc, because Gurren Lagann isn't just 2 parts. It's 4, I would argue.
No, I was thinking the same thing, because it goes like the first 8 episodes, the second 8 episodes if you count the recap, then the next 6 episodes, and then the last 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the first couple of quotes are by Kamina. They're all quotes by Kamina, right? And Kamina is the person that Simon is looking up to, right? Right? So like,
oh, okay.
The next 8 episodes are all quotes by Nia, the person who pulls Simon to be who he needs to be. Right?
Mm-hmm.
The next set of quotes are by Rossiu,
who's challenging Simon, but also needs to work with, or together with him. Yeah,
I have more big brain shit to say about that because it's. And then the last set of quotes are quotes by Simon, because
who's
finally
become his own self.
He's become his own self, right? And it's so good.
That's good. That is really good, actually.
It's so good because it's like okay. So the reason why I want to go episode by episode is because it's important to see like how these like so episode 5 is like the show's conflict embodied, right? They go down into the place where Rossiu is, and into this place where they're like they've lived this way, and this way is the only way they know how to live, and they have to kill people if they want to survive. They have to do that. Like, if they don't, then no one will be able to eat, and everybody will starve and die. And the priest had to make the hard choice. But Kamina, who's set in his own ways, and is like at that point one of the biggest people go to the heavens, right? He can't stand it. He doesn't understand why they're like that, why they continue to live like this. He's not willing to understand.
Yeah, they can't mix it all, basically, where Simon is able to, be different.
But look who's in there, right? Rossiu sees these people from the surface, and they're like, is what we're doing really right? And Simon is looking at Kamina saying, these people have lived this way for so long. What right do we have to tell them that they're wrong? Would you be able to come up with a better solution?
Yeah, they're the ones willing to question things, right?
So that's something important. But also the fact that we get Gimi and Dadi during this part. Also, Gimi and Dadi's names are literally just Migi and Hirari, right? Just right and left hand.
Oh. Huh.
Which is important later, because Gurren Lagann's fucking insane. So, it's just, did you realize that when they go off to the final battle in episode 8, everybody else is cheering for Kamina, but there's 3 characters who are cheering on Simon.
Also, just to stop in case most of the audience doesn't know Japanese. Migi and Hidari are right and left, and if you swap Migi, it's Gimi, and if you take off the he, it becomes Dari.
It's Dari, yeah.
So because I didn't notice that. So
I didn't know that because I don't know Japanese. So
yeah, well, even when he said it, I had to like think in like how, and then I realized like, oh, that's how.
Yeah,
I wanted to explain it to the audience.
So okay. Aside from Kamina and Yoko, who are Yoko not really, because you'll see later on.
Yoko's like Yoko. I feel like is or what are you gonna say, Vindy?
I was actually gonna say I am gonna get a little upset if you, because I think that because like look, here's the thing, the show makes it very clear that Yoko is one of the most supportive people in Simon's life to Simon. There are she does like people like Kamina and Kitan more, but there are constant moments throughout the show where she is giving Simon the push she needs, and she sees in Simon what Kamina sees in Simon, and is trying in her own way to help him get there. She just isn't the right person to help him get there.
I'll get to that, Vindy.
Well, I was going to say with Yoko is like, because she's similar-ish to like, she's the go forward kind of type, but when what's I think is interesting for part 2 is because she just leaves. Like, she kind of recognizes what Simon doesn't recognize until after the series is over. Like, there's maybe I'm thinking of Best Guy Ever's videos, but there's a time for the warriors to go forward, and there's a time for the more logical, smart people to be the leaders and stuff. And it was their take in part 2 is flawed because Simon, he's not a leader, he's a warrior, and then so that's why there was conflict with Rossiu and he was taking leadership. Where Yoko, she's a warrior, but she just left, and she wasn't a government type. She didn't like force herself into let's be real. Team Gurren being having this, they're all stupid. They shouldn't be in government positions. Are you kidding me?
Right, they're the only people with the courage to go out and fight, but they're not the people.
Right. So Yoko is
so
Yoko is like them in that she's a warrior, but she's also smart enough to realize that this isn't for her, and she goes and does the thing like what we see her doing at the end of the series. Like she's like the most mature one out of the cast, basically, who's also a warrior, who's also the go forward type, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So the 3 people who actively cheer on the 3 people. Who are they? Who cheer on Simon in the fight in the battle against
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, tell me right now. Tell me.
It's Gimme, Dari, and Rossiu.
The 3 people who don't look up to Kamina but instead to Simon. And that's what's important, because Rossiu is very clearly younger than Simon.
You know who else looks up to Kamina as well, really quickly?
Yeah.
Yoko and Kamina, 2 other people who pilot Gurren Lagann. Just to...
Oh yeah,
we'll get to that because it's
that's right. Because there was the part where Yoko she was with Simon in Gurren Lagann, and she only did it once because he doesn't need me, but Rossiu works though. Yeah.
Well, because here's the thing: whoever pilots Gurren is so important, because it's Kamina, who at first is who always looked up to Simon, but Simon doesn't realize that. Simon always thinks that he's the one who's weaker and then Bro's strong, because he doesn't see anything in himself. And then after that, there's because the hot spring scene, the hot spring episode is big brain, because that's the first time Rossiu pilots Gurren and shows that he can. It's so, because then Rossiu piloting Gurren is because he looks up. Yeah, it's like you said, he looks up to Simon, and there has to be that at that point in the story, there's that balance that needs to be put, because at first when it's Kamina and Simon's the one holding back, and Kamina is the one who has to keep going forward. And the only reason Kamina is not dead early in the episodes is because Simon keeps getting them out of those situations.
Yeah, he's the one holding them back. He's like the balancing factor to Kamina. And it's not until the climax of the fight where Kamina, where Simon's being weak and not moving at all, and Kamina needs to go hard. There was a part where he's lying down wounded after he got hurt, and he's bleeding, and when he moves, he starts bleeding more. The fact he has to push himself harder for Simon, and I think that you could argue that's why he died, because he was weak, and so
that's why Kamina is my fucking favorite character in this goddamn fucking show, is because at the end of the day, right, you have Simon, okay, and Simon is someone who, sure, he's weak and he grows into a strong person, and his arc is more satisfying and conclusive. But the thing about Kamina for me is that more than anyone else, Kamina is doing everything he does. Yeah, like, okay, people who like Kamina just because he's the most, like, entertaining character, the character with the most presence on screen, you're stupid. The reason Kamina is the best character in the show, in my opinion, is because everything that he's doing is for Simon and for other people. Kamina knows that he's weak, and he's pretending to be strong on purpose to try to push people up, because he's even the first person you see recognize fucking spiral energy and call it what everyone else calls it, which is fighting spirit. He realizes that it's spirit that pilots Lagann, and he knows that it's all about pushing that spirit into Simon and into everyone else. And that's why he goes to the lengths he does, because he is constantly pushing everyone else. Right?
No, it's great because he's a weak man putting on a strong face so that everybody else is able to be strong. Because that's all he can do.
And that is, in my opinion, like the most respectable fucking thing any goddamn human being can do. Like, he's such a fucking Chad.
Well, okay. So, because Kamina is like, the reason why he's so important is because he's like the center point. He's the, did you like when they go into the spiral, the dream labyrinth, the multidimensional labyrinth, it's Kamina who pulls them out. It's Kamina who pulls out Simon, because always it's the weak man putting on a face to be strong who's able to inspire them.
Well,
because they all think they're weak.
There's so much big brain shit. Like, okay, for example, the moment where we get the same story told from two perspectives, right? And it's when there's an earthquake, and it shows the same visual where Kamina is behind everyone, pushing them forwards as Simon's the person drilling, right? And Simon's at the front, creating a pathway, and Kamina's at the back, pushing everyone, including Simon, forwards. Did you also notice that later on, when Yoko's talking to Kitan about his role in Team Gurren, it was Simon was the person at the front looking up with everyone else, and Kitan was at the back pushing everyone else forwards.
Yeah, because they're like... Kitan, I'll get to why Kitan's so fucking good.
So,
I just realized maybe instead of talking about episodes, we should just talk about characters.
Because I think characters is the better way to format it. Yeah.
So I just want. Okay, so the pilots of Gurren are like, because then the last person aside from like Gimi and Dari, who are the ones who take over Gurren Lagann, it's like Viral is the third main pilot of Gurren, and at that point it had become like someone who Simon looked up to, but was really like looking up to him. Then it was someone who was looking up to Simon, and as he was finally taking his place as leader, and now it's Viral. It's like a beast man and a man who were once enemies now working together, fighting against the enemy that's trying to hold them both down.
Yeah, and he was interesting because he saw Simon as like an enemy and a kid, and then he came to respect him as like
it's respect.
He's not like he's someone who respected Kamina first and then came to respect Simon like later, which is kind of interesting because I don't think that's the case with other characters, but like Rossi respected Simon first, because he's the one cheering him on in the beginning. Where a lot of the other characters respected Simon, but Viral's the first, or at least like maybe not the first one, but at least he's the one in Gurren who does. So he respected because even with fighting Simon, I keep saying the dub name because I watched it twice. God,
well, no, in Japanese it's also Simon,
and that's true. So what I'm just gonna say either or. Because he was fighting. He was even fighting Simon and thinking it was Kamina until he realized, wait, shit, I've been fighting the kid the whole time and losing. But yeah, no, it's good.
Okay, so let's talk. Which character do you guys want to talk about first?
Real quick, I do want to have one other. You mean Rossi? But first, I want one more thought on Kamina is like going back to the response, like the Getarobo thing, but this time with Joe, because obviously Kamina is a reference to Joe, where like Joe is also a character who's like he's trying to get stronger, but he's putting on this front, but he's because he is weaker on the inside, though he's less inspirational about it and more jackass. Like he's more incidentally inspirational, I guess. But I guess the main thing with Kamina and Joe is that, like, obviously, because I do like Joe better as a character, but, like, that's just, I mean, you're talking about 20-volume manga versus a 27-episode where Kamina, he's only in 8 of them, and then plus 1. Like,
I think Kamina gets better at, like, Kamina gets so much
better after
Kamina
he
gets
dies.
better after he dies.
Well,
like,
I'm just gonna. Well, I was gonna say like Vindy, like if you like comment better, that's I understand it.
Yeah.
I just happen to like Joe better. But going back to like Gurren Lagann,
I was just gonna say,
Kamina's death is what like makes his character really like important and good.
Yeah.
But I was just gonna say like the fact that like because Joe dies at, like or he might not die. It's left vague and there's it doesn't matter. But like that's at the end of the story. It's literally the last panel of the entire story is that pose that you see referenced in everything, including Gurren Lagann episode 8, where because Kamina's he's looking to the left, which in screen detection for Japanese is forward tomorrow. Even though he died. But so like basically in responding to Ashita no Joe, like by putting Joe as a secondary character, it sort of examines like, well, okay, Joe fucking died. That's with it's the end of that story, but on this story, it's just like he's just a major secondary character, So it's interesting to see that explored in that way, because obviously Joe didn't do it, but just something I wanted to bring up before we move on to Sasuke, aka Rasu.
You mean my what is?
Okay,
he's
now
like
you
my third or fourth favorite
you
character.
have me want to fucking talk about Kamina some more.
Go
really
on,
quickly.
man.
Well,
Hold on. The reason episode 11 is the best goddamn episode of Gurren Lagann is not for when Happily Ever After plays and Simon chads out and beats fucking Guam. Okay? The reason that episode 11 is the best goddamn episode of Gurren Lagann is for the moment where
Yoko tells everybody what she heard from Kamina.
Yoko tells everyone Kamina's side of the story as Simon is sitting there digging, and we fucking learn that like for Kamina, he didn't want to keep going. But at the end of the day, he didn't want to be a man that Simon would laugh at. And he wanted to push Simon because he saw something in Simon and he had faith in Simon.
Okay,
and that's when Kamina gets great, and that's why episode 11 is the best moment.
Episode 11 does some shit because that entire build-up to everything that happens is great because it starts off with them getting like jailed, and they're all trying to get out, and they're all bashing their... Yeah, because they're all bashing their heads because they're stupid. Like,
well, and it's because if you look, it's because Kitan, who is very clearly kind of his character is discount Kamina, but that's the point.
Yeah, because he's trying to match up to Kamina, but he can't because he's not taking the lesson Simone took, where don't be Simone isn't Kamina, Simone is Simone. But Kitan didn't quite take that lesson, or at least not in the first part.
They're not working with Simon. Like they're not believing in Simon. Like nobody has believed in Simon, and
like they all think they literally threw Lagann in the trash because they're saying that
they literally call him dead. Like the episode starts at one point, and Yoko calls him dead weight, right? So it's all these people going forward without Simon, not believing in Simon.
But
not
who's
believing
the
in Simon's
only
luck.
one? Who's the only one? It's Nia. It's fucking Nia.
Yeah, well, because she's the only one who's only knows Simon. She doesn't know Kamina at all. I think she even says a line bringing that up because when he's carving the Kamina statues, she's just like, wow, I never met him, but I can see that you care a lot about him. But
I want to go on a whole thing about Nia because Nia.
Well, we'll get to Nia, but I guess we should, or should we just go into Nia next? Because I want to talk about Nia too.
We're talking about like Kamina. It was
okay. Well, we were gonna move on to Rasu, but
yeah.
I don't care who we move on to. So
well, I mean, just talk about episode 11. Just real quick, let me just talk about episode 11 because it builds up. Because there's that whole thing, they're underground, they're all bashing their heads against the walls because there's nothing else they can do because they're like, but the only one who's moving slowly and just like calmly and digging out is Simon, the one who at that point everybody else thought was dead weight. Yes. And the only reason he's digging out is because Nia, the one who believes in him still, like it's like is needs help, right?
Yeah, well, and I also like that because, well, he's not only he's digging out with his like small drill, which goes into the whole like the small thing can become, if it keeps going, it can be spiraled bigger and big, like what like Simon himself, who's just a small normal guy who became the biggest, and
then they're all like, it's great because they like slowly realize, like all you hear is the digging, and you see them all slowly look up and look at him.
Do you know who the first people who noticed were?
Wasn't it Gimme and Dottie?
It was Gimme and Derry, yeah.
Yes! God, the show is so good. God, it's good. It's so really well made. Holy shit.
Because then they're all noticing, and then right when they see that and they're all amazed by it, that's when Yoko goes, I understand now what Kamina meant
it goes even farther than that, because you even get a hint of it in episode 10 when Simon tells the story and he starts to mention there was an earthquake, and Yoko goes, "Oh, I know what you're," and then she stops and lets him go and hears the story from his perspective. And if you look, there is a difference in Yoko at that point where she realizes the difference between Simon and Kamina, and she starts to think more like Kamina after that moment.
Yeah, it's like, and then it's just like, and when he's digging in there, then he gets the speech from like when you see that, it's like, I won't be, like, when Kamina says that, like I was losing hope, I thought I was going to die, but then I saw him digging forward, and I saw his back just hunched over, digging slowly and calmly, and I said to myself, I won't be laughed at that back.
Yeah, I'll be a man who won't be laughed at by that back, yeah.
And then, like, then the speech from Kamina starts, and it's like, Simon, don't be someone who believes in me, and don't believe in the me who believes in you. Believe in the Simon who believes in you. And right at that moment, the cordial glows, and Lagann comes down from the top. And then it keeps going, because then, like, we have, like, Guam talking about how he's gonna kill Simon first, and because everybody knows that he's the one everyone's afraid of, and then right at that moment, Lagann drills up and saves Nia in, like, the most shadowly move possible.
Yeah, and it's the fact that, yeah, he then saves Nia, and then obviously Simon's speech is fucking perfect.
There's something that happens before that.
Oh,
they
takes
fly
the controls of Nia.
No, so he flies up, and they're talking. He's like, Nia, I understand what you meant now. And then she's happy, and then she sees his hands that are covered in dirt, right? Like, all of the, like, dirt and, like, stuff that was all over his hands. She sees that, and she's like, she sees that he tried so hard for her, and she's like, Simon, let go of the controls. And then she, like, takes over for him. She gives him the support that he needs.
It's more than that. It's actually more than that, because what it is if you remember, Simon talked before about how, because he dug all day back in Giha Village, the only person who saw him and didn't call him gross and stinky and dirty
was Kamina,
and think of him as weird as a digger, was Kamina. And now you see Nia, who at multiple points now has seen him digging and has seen him full of dirt and grime.
She sees those hands, and she's, like, proud of him.
Nothing but supportive, and is nothing but seeing in him what Kamina saw in him.
God, and then, okay, let's move on, because then what's important is that Rossiu gets Gurren and then fights, and then, like, they combine. But let's talk about Rossiu, because I know you don't like...
No, are you fucking shitting me?
What?
We spent all that time talking about fucking episode 11, and you don't think the next logical fucking conclusion for the conversation to move is into Simon? Are you shitting me?
Because we were saying that we were going to talk about Rossiu this entire time.
And
I want to talk about
There's been, like, 3 different, like, next characters now.
And now the conversation's changed, and the only next logical choice is Simon.
I can't... Look, if we talk about Simon, I'm going to fucking cry.
We just talked about Simon
if we talk
for, like,
about Simon,
20 minutes.
If we talk solely about Simon, I'm going to fucking cry. Holy shit.
Okay,
no.
well, let's fucking go then, bitch.
Fuck you. Fuck you, dude.
I mean,
okay.
Simon's kind of like the core of the show, core drill, you could say. So, like, talking about everyone inevitably also means talking about Simon.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The drill is Simon's soul. And the drill is what is at the soul of Gurren Lagann. So Simon is the soul of Gurren Lagann.
Well,
so we'll talk about everyone around Simon and then get to the point.
Because it's so good. There's things that happen because of Simon.
We'll talk about Simon last.
Look, and I want to talk about Nia real quick because, her design in the last parts of the episodes where she has the short hair and she's got, like, the slightly darker pink coat over her, adorable.
That coat's great.
She's very good.
Long hair Nia's better, but her coat with the Gurren logo on it's better.
I don't agree. I like the short hair because it's so fluffy and messy. I want to dye
it. Did you realize that her hair looks like clouds?
Yeah, I want to dye in it because her head's in the clouds.
It was the same clouds in every episode. Bad. They
shut the fuck up. No, but did you realize that her hair's like clouds because it's the first scene that I see that, like, helps Simon. It's one of the first scenes that helps Simon get out of his, like, grief from, like, Kamina's death.
Oh.
The surface, the sky, Nia's hair is clouds.
There's also Nia's great. She's also very hot in part 2. And you see her tits in movie 2.
She was pretty hot in part 2, yeah.
And you see her tits in movie 2, so it's worth watching just for Just for Nia's tits. Don't look at Space Yoko's tits. Cry because they're not good Yoko's tits. God, Space Yoko is the biggest problem with Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
The biggest tragedy is that we never see Dari's tits. What?
I mean,
we see what Gimmy's dick. So,
Well, I know you enjoyed that.
no, Crafts did. He's the one who talked about sucking boys.
Well, why did you mention it, Vindy?
No.
I wanted to give Craftsdwarf something to talk about.
Craftsdwarf, come here.
I'm just gonna leave.
Craftsdwarf, isn't it weird how Vinny immediately jumped to give me
you guys, look. You guys joke about me being a lolly fucker and shit, but you guys are 99.9% of the fucking time the ones who bring it up.
I would never.
Craftsdwarf, I didn't bring it up. Did you realize that he brought it up real fast? Did you see that? That was a little weird, wasn't it?
We have been recording for an hour and 10 minutes.
And we're not even halfway through what we want to say.
And you're going to tell me that I quickly brought up Gimmy's dick? Are you fucking
You've been
stupid?
waiting for that
Does
this
your
entire
brain
time.
work?
You've been waiting for that this entire time. You
I
fucking
haven't been
weirdo.
waiting
You
for that
fucking
this
degenerate. You
entire
fucking
time.
weirdo.
I have other things that
Yeah, okay.
See, we were talking about the show too much. Clearly that needed to stop.
Yeah, that needs to. Okay,
I
can
was
we
getting a little
talk?
tired of this
Can we
serious
talk
discussion.
about Rossiu?
No.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
can talk about Sasuke.
So Vindy hates Rossiu because he thinks he's Sasuke. Which, okay,
That's not true.
well, you're still stupid.
No, I have...
How do you feel about Rossiu
Firmly-
having rewatched the show?
Yeah, it's very simple, and I was so happy. I want to punch Rossiu in the face, and Simon punched Rossiu in the face. I like Rossiu. He's a good boy. I want to punch him. I want to. That's the problem. Is sometimes you just get so mad, like you know he's fucking. I just want to punch Rossiu in the face.
Well,
That's
you know
what it comes down
Rossiu's
to.
fucking, if you know what I mean.
Like,
Yeah, Rossiu
I-
gets hot glasses chick, and Simone is
She's not
old
that
hobo
hot.
virgin. She's not.
pretty
She's the
hot.
worst of the Black Sisters.
She's pretty hot, though, still.
No. I just want to belt the shit out of Rossiu. Like, I forgot, actually. I did cry once in part 2. It was when Rossiu was going to kill himself, and Simon came in and punched him. What? What are you fucking laughing at?
No, I just thought the way you said it was funny.
So, look. It's still funny to say Rossiu's like Sasuke, because it makes Ninmanji mad, and I love Ninmanji. But at the end of the
Sasuke's a
day...
good character, though.
And you know what? I will feel the exact same way 100% when I reread Naruto, where it's, I want to punch Sasuke in his fucking face. Okay? And, like, I love the line that Simon gives when he punches Rossiu, where he's like, look, we all fuck up sometimes, okay? Just as I fucked up, you fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
you, like,
Well,
I'm
Rossiu's
gonna punch you,
and
be
he's not
fine.
used to being the one who takes action, so yeah, he wasn't used to failure either. Good. It's good. Good series.
Okay, so Rossiu's important because they're both people who were looking up to somebody, and then eventually sort of took over certain aspects of that. Like Simone looked up to Kamina, and eventually took on those aspects of we gotta dig forward, look up. Rossiu, the entire time throughout the series, like when Lord Genome gave the warning of what was going to happen to the moon, Rossiu was the first one to look at the moon after the battle and be like, holy shit, what's about to happen? Because he knew that he had to do something about it. Like, Simone isn't the kind of person, like a lot of the people in Team Gurren aren't the kind of people who would
They
plan
deal
ahead.
in the short term, and Simone
But not long
and
term.
Rossiu thinks in the long right. Well, because again, you can kind of see that when Kitan's taking control in episode 10, and like I mentioned, when he's thinking with his dick, because he sees hot girls need saving. Let's just go. Like they don't think about how obviously bad the acting is and how it's obviously a trap. He's just like, save girl, think with penis.
What it comes down to, right, is that at the end of the day, right, after they beat Lord Genome, right, everyone in Team Gurren, they have a big W, right? They've won a lot.
And I want to say, because apparently people bitch about the opening playing too much in this show. Hard disagree.
It plays twice.
Well, because and especially because I love the way it's used.
It plays 29 times actually. What the what?
Shut
No,
the
it plays
fuck
it plays
up.
27 times because it doesn't play normally in those episodes. They only play.
You're right.
So,
You're
yeah.
right. I'm sorry.
But, so
I'm sorry.
in episode 27 they play it normal over the final battle, but I love how they do in episode 15 because they don't play it over the battle. I was waiting for it, but they play it over the victory lap when they're coming down, and then it plays. And I look. I felt so satisfied during that episode that even though I was done for watching for the day, but it was like like the open. I don't know. I really liked how the opening worked in the episode. I was like, yeah, good.
So, right.
But anyway, so I wanted to say that before we.
What I was gonna say is, like, what it comes down to, right, is Rossyu hears about the moon and he's looking down at everything they've won and trying to save it, but Kamina and not Kamina, holy shit, Simon and Kitan are looking up. They're still looking at how to expand and grow and keep pushing forwards. And so the reason that Rossiu's the only one who isn't put in a position to save them is because Rossiu's the only one looking down and trying to protect what he already has.
Well,
yeah, which it would have been good, like, hypothetically, yeah, if they just, managed the population so it never went over 1 million, like, they could have lived perfectly happy lives there until, that population got close to, or, unless
issue,
they, I mean, at that size, you can manage it, just with laws and shit, like, don't have more than 2 children or whatever, stuff like that.
Okay, fucking China, no.
Okay, look, listen.
So,
listen, so here was the thing, right, is that...
Well, like, but they had to stop Spider eventually, so...
So, Gurren Lagann kind of makes it a point to do this, and you're gonna get mad at me, Vinny, but listen, like, they basically say that ultimately Rossyu and Simon in some ways were right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Rossyu was right. They needed to do something. There needed to be a plan. That the chief of Adai Village was right. At the moment, that was all they could do. They didn't have the resources to get out. Like, Lord Genome, for what he could do by himself, he was right. There was nothing else he could do.
Well,
but the key is that by themselves.
Yeah.
The two paths were not weaving together.
The problem is, right, that at the end of the day, when they look at it from their limited perspectives, is people who are looking down and aren't looking up at the full picture and aren't looking at the ceiling to break through. Yes, they were right. They did the best they could. But they're wrong because of how they're looking at it and the way they're going about it.
Well, yeah, that's why I bring up episode 5 being so important, because Kamen is also someone who kept looking to the sky, and he was like looking at what they needed to do. And at the end of
the day, how do they solve the solution? They break the ceiling and take people out
with planning and people who were able to think about what they needed to do. Because there's that fight between when Simon takes over the controls. He's like, when they're fighting Daigunzan, and they're like, the communist doing the usual shit of all the things he could do. And then Simon says, bro, I have a plan. Let me try it. Give me the controls. I'm not going to run away, but I have a plan. And Kamina, let's go. And it's only because of Simon that they were able to get out, make it alive. Because it's like, because Simon was right. If they ran away, because like Simon realized it, if they ran away, no, Kamina said it. Kamina said, if they run away, then everyone over there is going to die. But Simon also said if they keep charging forward like they were, then they were going to die, and the same thing would still happen. They needed to find a way to compromise and work together in order to fix it. So, like, Simon during part 2 is interesting because Simon during that point was only concerned with, like, what we had to do at that second, at that moment. Do what we could at that moment.
Yeah, well, and a good example of that is when the first anti-spiral attack happens, and he's just like, okay, fight it, destroy it, and what happens is the explosions, it causes lots of damage, because he's rejecting Rossyu and not working with him, where, like, the reasonable thing to do would have been, like, get the thing, like, Gurren Lagann strong, it could have hypothetically, like, grabbed it, move out of the way, done something, that wasn't just fight, destroy.
Simon was so focused on the now.
Yes.
And Rossyu was too focused on what could happen, but they weren't working together, so they were both wrong. And it wasn't until like that moment where like when Simon realizes that he has to like rely on other people instead of trying to fight everything by himself. Like they say it throughout the whole like part 2 is that like when Makin and his wife were like looking at like Simon, they were asking how he was doing. He's saying like, I'm doing fine. I'm gonna find Nia. I'll find Nia. They were like, she's not the one we're worried about. And we're worried about you. And it's like, it's things like that because Rossyu always was the person, because like, Gurren Lagann doesn't say that you should just look up. Because just looking up is literally just forcing the drill. But you have to do it softly and gently. And like, that's why like, so Rossyu's whole thing was that like, he was trying everything that he could to prevent disaster, to save as many lives as he could, because everybody else was too focused on, like, everybody else was, like, basically suicidal in the way that they fight. Like, they were gonna fight and kill and blow things up, and if we die, shit, that's what happens. But, like, Rossi was the only one with the foresight to be like, well, this might happen. And that's why, like, it's really cool when, like, when they finally fight together with Gurren Lagann, and they become Arc Gurren, and they're pushing the moon, when, like, Rossi says, like, if they can't do it, then let go, and we'll save the lives that we can, right? Because there's always something you have to be prepared. But because they were working together is the only reason they were able to succeed. And like Simon says
they literally like during the last fight, well, like, because you know the big arc leaves like early and it runs into trouble because Rossi's working alone, and during the last fight, Simon and Rossi's ship combine and make Arc Gurren Lagann, and it wins. So yeah, teamwork. It's good.
So there was like this, because like there's that point where after Rossi was like about to kill himself, because he realizes that like he was blaming himself after that. He failed, and he's like, well, he was like, I have to atone for every single person that I was about to kill, that I was about to let die. And Simon's like, you made the hard choice that I couldn't even make. You did that. I was too focused on fighting, and because of you were able to make those choices that I wasn't able to make, I was able to do what I could. Right? It's like you can only go forward with someone in the back, like encouraging you, right? So that's why it's so good when they're like, well, what do we like? We can't leave Earth behind, and Rossiu just says, "I'll figure something out. I'll stay behind because you guys need to go forward."
Well, oh my god. Okay, I was looking through some shit. It goes even bigger brain than that. Let's just be honest here, okay? There's a moment when they're fighting Lord Genome, okay? Where, like, Rossiu's getting scared and he's like, we can't do this. And Simon says to him, Rossiu, have faith in me. Believe in the Simon who believes in you. And then, after all this shit happens, he tells Rossiu to believe in the him that believes in himself.
Oh, shit, yeah.
You know what was good? You know what was... Okay, the reason why I think I love the Final 5 Gurren Lagann is, like, the one moment that makes me fucking snap is when, like, they see them and, like, after they see and Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann and Anti-Spiral fighting in the heavens, right? They're all freaking out. And then Rossiu is the one finally looking up and saying, this is bad, but it'll take more than this to finish them. And then Sorairode's fucking plays, and everybody's looking up again and like inspired and like believing in them. It's so fucking good. God.
So, I'm gonna ask a question. Have you considered doing like a full episodic analysis of the show? Because
I would love a long form.
Well, because I've been thinking about doing that with Madoka when it gets a finale, because I have more notes per episode on Madoka than I think I've ever written on anything ever.
That might be like a whole project. Like I might.
No, that's what I mean. Is like it would be a whole project.
Something along the lines of like, you know, to bring up other anti-troopers like Digi's
like the Asterisk War series, maybe, but positive.
Yeah, Asterisk War or Sword Online 2.
Oh, he did a series on Evangelion where he started it. He only got like 11 episodes in, but no, because like there's so many like little details. Like Vindy's pointing out. I mentioned some stuff that you guys probably might have already thought about because you watched the show more. I don't know, but like there's just so many things. It's like, how do you like in just a normal video like the ones we do? I don't know how you can get all this across. Like. And it is Gurren Lagann, like it's your second favorite anime, and that's a hard sell considering how, like, you know, you talked about it before, like, you know, the only reason it's number 2 is because of it's Love Live, you know, so I don't know, just the thought I had literally in this discussion where it's like, yeah, that would be a way you could talk about everything.
Because I was already thinking about doing something like that for Love Live, because I was like, well, people are stupid. I might as well do this eventually. Because like, Mr. Morge
Love Live would be a longer project because it's like 50 episodes, but the difference is that with Love Live you've already talked about it a lot. With Gurren Lagann, you have not really talked about it on your channel.
And you're even telling me you wanted to do character-specific videos for Gurren Lagann. Why don't you do this instead?
Well, because it's kind of like why I don't make Bleach videos. I get like, you know how long it took me to make a Love Live analysis? It took me like 2 fucking years. It's because I was like...
Yeah, I know. I talked to you the entire time where you were like, I should make Love Live videos. and then that's why like you making the first what is a School Idol was your first one?
Yeah.
It was such a big moment because it was you finally fucking making it.
Yeah. I will do that. I'll do that because I was already thinking because I was like when I was trying to come up with the Rossi video, I was like, well, I have to fucking because that's the weird thing about Gurren Lagann is that like when you ask me top 5 characters, it's like, well, shit, dude, that's like trying to pick my favorite child. What the fuck is wrong with you?
5 times.
Like it's hard because they're all good because of each other, and it's like, what the fuck? Like,
why is?
So I guess to go back to the actual discussion, were we done with Rossiu? Because I'm not sure how much. I don't know.
I could talk more about Rossiu, but Rossiu would like involve other characters, so we should probably just move on to other characters. Because what I'm noticing that happens is we retroactively talk about other characters when we talk about one.
Well, yeah, because I thought about something earlier that I didn't mention about Nia, and part of why I like her a lot is like because one trope I like in general, because people are like, oh, amnesia's bad. Nia doesn't have amnesia, but it's similar in that like what amnesia or just characters like Nia where there's kind of like they're fish out of water, they're freshly experiencing this new world. I like characters like that, especially in something that's already established. Like one thing I feel like I haven't seen out of one of the sort of like quote unquote reverse isekai things like is where you get this alien character coming to our world and experiencing our world through a completely fresh lens, and I haven't really felt like one of the ones I watched really like did enough for that for me to like it a lot in that aspect specifically. But anyway, I'm way off topic. But I like those because I like that sort of like, you know, seeing the world through, or the characters, things we already know through the lens of someone who doesn't know them at all. And I like that. Like I love, like she's like when they're playing beach volleyball and she like nearly kills someone with the volleyball because she's just like as hard as I can, and you know, and she's like, I just like that trope. I like that idea, and Nia does that well, and it's cute. She's, you know, good and fun and cute, and I like her. Like, apparently people bitch about that. Oh, she doesn't do anything. I will find them and I will kill them.
Craftsdwarf. Is that my lead-in to talk about the second best character in Gurren Lagann?
We're gonna talk about Simon.
We already talked about Nia.
Okay, Nia is so good.
Oh, I guess we talked about Nia earlier, but we went off topic, so you never got the chance to talk about her.
Okay, real quick, I'm gonna blow your fucking brains out. There's a fucking. So you remember when Kamina came in the world of the Infinite Labyrinth, right? When he appears before Simon, they're in the valley where Nia was dropped.
Yeah.
And the salvation was Nia's case.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that?
Yeah, because Nia saved him before, and Kamina saved him. Like, you know, they both. So it kind of combines in Simon's brain.
Right,
yeah,
and
it's so
and the whole goal is he's trying to save Nia. So of course he would save Nia to break out of it. Yeah.
No, but it's good because it's like it's both of them, right? Because after Kamina died, Simon was basically like there's literally a visual.
His soul was basically dead. Yeah. Like he literally just like sat around and depressed, like not doing anything at all. Yeah.
The visual where like he's laying in his bed and it's the same visual of like the tunnels digging when he was in episode 1. It's like he started from the beginning, right? Like he's just so down and he can't do it. But like it's interesting because in that first episode where like after Kamina dies, Simon's like I have to kill. He's basically suicidal too. He's like I have to do this because bro wouldn't run away. He would never do something like that. And then like he just fucking his machine like Lagann rejects him, and he goes down there, and then when Nia comes out of the thing, like the sky lights up, the clouds disappear, the rain's gone, and it's just all this light surrounding them because when Nia comes in, she's just like wow, you seem like a cool guy, you're just like me, wow, this is amazing. And he like up until this point he was like screaming and yelling at everybody. When he sees Nia, he's just like he stops, right? He's like super nice. He's like super nice to her, like in awe of her. Basically, it's really, and it's cool because like people who say that it's like we say people who say that she does nothing, like or that she's like a damsel in distress, don't realize that one of the first things that she says to Simon is that like, why do you keep relying on a dead man?
Well, if you look, Simon is also constantly pushed by his want to save Nia, right? It stops him there. There's the moment where he runs forward to save her in episode 10. In episode 11, it's what breaks him out of his funk, is being able to save Nia. Being able to save Nia is what helps him break out of his parallel universe in episode 26. Like, he's constantly being pushed forward by his want to save Nia, because they even mentioned that love is the source, is like a main source of spiral energy, and
which also makes sense because two people bang evolution, which I only just realized now.
Another thing is, like, they say that, like, the one, like, spiral energy is fueled by hope. Like, the one thing that they push forward towards is hope, and the opposite of hope is fear. And, like, Nia gave hope to Simon. Like, the fact that she sat there and took the time to understand him, and like she just, like, there's a bunch of scenes where he's like sitting by himself and she just walks over and talks to him, and she's like, when he's carving the statues of Kamina, she just sits down and she's like, I've never met him, but when I see these, I can tell how much you loved him and how much he meant to you. And she just sits there and watches, and it's so good. And then, like, when everybody else is, because, like, up until this point, everybody's still talking about, like, well, Kamina would have did this, Kamina would have done that. And then when Simon's telling the story of, like, Kamina and how, like, he, like, and Yoko's there too, Nia's like, well, you'll never be him, so why are you trying to be like him? And then it's like, and then Yoko's like, you never knew him, how could you say something like that? And then Nia looks at her and she's like, I can't get to know a dead person, but I know Simon, and Simon is amazing. So he should stop relying on that dead person and believe him himself. And, like, there's that one scene where she's like, she gets taken away because she wants to, like, because there's multiple scenes of her, like, standing up to the generals, like, her by herself.
Yeah, well, see, that's what's... I was just trying to think about it, because it's kind of interesting. Because maybe it's because she was born to Lord Genome, who's, like, next to Simon, like, one of the strongest, like, spiral... Like, he killed all of... Apparently, or, you mentioned it earlier, he killed all the other spiral warriors that went to fight anti-spiral.
Yeah, it's implied that he's, like, the strongest, right?
So,
it's
well,
like,
Nia's the one who, like, she kind of, like, inherently and... like, intuitively has this go forward mentality. Like, even with the Kamina stuff, is like, she's like, she's wrong in that they have to move on completely from Kamina because that's too extreme. Like, you don't just forget this person who's been important to you, but she is right that they need to move on from his death, but, like, not forget him completely. Like, so because she is kind of this extreme, and yeah, she always moves first again, even against these giant robots without any, like, she never pilots a mech except in the movie. Like, she's just a normal girl, but she still has that, go forward mentality, just, like, naturally and intuitively. And I hadn't thought about, like, oh, maybe it's because she was born to Lord Genome, so
we'll get to like the remembering the dead people thing, because when we get to Yoko, because Yoko has a line that makes me fucking but Nia, like, during these parts has, like, they're constantly, she's like the one that, like, snaps people out of things, right? Like, when she gets, like, when during the beach episode, when she's, like, talking to Yoko, and they're like talking, like, when Yoko still has, like, her reservations about her, and then she gets picked up by Adine, and she's like I'm holding her as a hostage, and Yoko steps out, is ready to shoot, and when Nia sees that Yoko's getting ready to shoot, she just closes her eyes.
I love that. Yes.
And then when Yoko asks why, Nia's just like, I've seen what you're capable of, and I know that you're a master with a rifle, so I have faith in you that you would do what needed to be done. And it's like,
No, I love... Nia's so good. I love that moment.
And there's that line, okay, when all those dumbasses who copied Kamina were, like, flying towards Teplin, like, about to commit suicide again, the giant projection of Nia saying, everybody's like, well met, everyone, everything's gonna be okay. Simon has a plan. I have faith in him because his drill's gonna be the one to save the heavens. So have faith in what he can do. And then that stops everybody, and that gives them hope. And then right when that happens, Simon and Rosyu destroy
the hammer arm, right?
Daigunzo, yeah.
Oh no, okay, never mind. That was I'm thinking of the next episode, or I think when
If you pay attention, though, Simon even does the same thing for Nia, because she was holding out hope that Lord Genome wasn't going to, didn't want her dead. And then she finds out that Lord Genome did, order her to die, and she was in despair, and that it was,
and they give hope to each other, yeah, because there's that one moment where she finds that out, and she's about to fucking die, and who's the first person to run towards her is Simon.
And it's the fact that Simon ran towards her when he was running on his feet that is what gave her hope.
It's so good, and that's why she sees people who like do these things, and she believes in them, and genuinely she's like, I've seen what you can do, and I have faith in you.
With Simon, I also think it's that like they can't, because they both sort of had this loss of this person they looked up to with Lord Jidome and Kamina, and then they both had to move on from losing, even though they were different types of loss. Obviously, one is abandonment and one is death. But so they are kind of similar in this regard. And it doesn't matter why you're born, Nia. Just I love Nia.
That ties into it because her whole conflict. The reason why she's there is because she asked, "Why was I born? Why was the reason I was born?" And that comes up again when she's like, when they go to save her, is that they call her an irregular because she still has like the anti-spirals are like calling her an irregular. Like she's like, you should like, why are you like why do you believe in them? Why do you do all these things? Right? You were born. All you are is this. Like that was the reason why you were born, right? And she like defies that because she's like, I believe in them. I believe in what they can do. I believe in the human spirit. I've seen them, and I have faith. So I don't have to just believe in I just don't have to, because like when she finds out the reason she was born, she's just a doll. It was because of her faith in Simon that she was able to like believe that she didn't need to like be stuck in that. Like it comes up again later on with the anti-spirals when she's like taken over again. It's
I love her. She's great, and Nia's good.
So good. Like. Okay, when in movie 2, when they add in the little things of her writing to Kamina, it's fun because she's just like, she says something like, she's like, hello big bro, I don't know you, I'm Nia, and then she's like introducing herself, talking about all the things like
her mech's also hot in movie 2.
Oh yeah, it's really good. Oh, there's a lot of funny shit that happens in Gurren Lagann, like there's the part where they're like, where Kitan's trying to interrogate her, and she just like interrogates him. She's like, "What is pissing off? Who is a bad person? Am I a bad person? I see you are not a pissing off person."
So funny and good and cute.
So and then when she comes out in her swimsuit, because at that point, like, yeah, skin, I love skin, and then she comes out, they're like,
maybe concealing is better than revealing. And I have to agree.
So like, I feel like at that point, Nia had like, I feel like the reason why her like being in part 2, like being what she is in part 2, is that I feel like if they added in the scenes that they added in movie 2, it would have been better. But like up until that point, I feel like that they had already been introduced to like the big choices that they had to make, and they already like stated that like they were, because there was like moments where you saw like basically like Kamina, like Simon knew. I almost say Kamina again. Jesus Christ!
You guys have both been doing that throughout, honestly. But keep going.
Like they basically like, his Simon knew that like if they killed the anti-spiral, then Nia would die. Like there's a lot of things like that happen, right? It's like if they do this, then they'll have to sacrifice something, because like that had been something that they like the entirety of the first part of part 2 had been building up to. Is like there's a time where you have to make the hard decisions, right? And I think it was like Simon knew, and there was like that part where they like where you see in during the final fight, and Nia looks up to Simon. She's like, Simon, you came all this way to do what you had to do. Isn't that what you came here for? And she starts like slow, like she glitches, right? Because she's God. And then there's that point there where she's like, when like the anti-spiral is trying to like analyze her, and he's like, you're going to be discontinued if they like, you're nothing but a virtual life form. If like, you'll die anyway, you'll never be a human again. So why does it matter? And there had been a lot of that had been happening before that. So like, I feel like,
well, I guess that kind of brings up an interesting, I guess it's like the sort of contradiction in the anti-spiral and why the spiral works is because, but it's also, it's maybe even a contradiction in the spiral. It's kind of, because they even say that part of like going forward is also like, being pushed by what came before, that which Kamina and Kita and all the dead. And so like, Nia accepting her death is part of why, they're able to beat the anti-spirals. But, like, because anti-spiral is so focused on, like, preserving life, like, they're on hibernation. Like, they're still going to keep forward, going, like, even though they're not moving, they're still living, where, so they're negated, they're rejecting life and death, whereas the spiral accepts life and death, basically.
They're the anti-spiral stagnation, and they're afraid of they're like, they do what needs to be done in order to keep what they have the same. Whereas everybody who's able to, like, as a doing, like, there's a very clear, like, mentality, that difference between, like, the anti-spiral and like the other spirals, and the reason why they were, like, both of them failed is, like, the anti-spiral wants stagnation. They don't want to move forward because moving forward means sacrificing things, like sacrificing more than they have to. It's that principle of, like, if there's one person, there's one, like, the trolley argument, like the trolley.
Oh, the trolley problem.
The trolley problem, yeah. It's literally just that, and they're like, they'll say
I would just stop the trolley.
No. They're like, we'll kill, like, you guys just keep moving forward. Like, we'll deal with it when it happens. They're like the ones who plan for like 5 billion years forward, and like,
well, no,
we'll
that's
prevent
literally
everything.
that's literally Team Gurren's.
Are we literally going to sit here and rework the plot of Gurren Lagann as a trolley problem? Is that actually going to happen?
No, but that's what they say.
Team Gurren's philosophy is to reject. Oh my god, I have the screenshot. Give me a second. Hold the fuck on.
There's literally so many moments where they say, like, yeah, logic says
rejecting common sense to make the impossible possible is how Team Gurren.
Like,
you look at Kamina and you say, you can either make it go to the left and kill one person, or you can let it keep going and it can kill 5. And Kamina's like, I would stop the trolley, and everyone else claps.
No, but like, the difference is like,
Kamina's like, I would stop the trolley, but in reality, Simon's the one who stops the trolley.
Well, I think the point is that, like, the anti-spirals weren't able to compromise, and neither was, like, at that point Kamina, like, because that's why, like, the people who, like, there's the anti-spirals, like, they would destroy what they had to in order to preserve, and what they were afraid of is the spirals who were going to destroy what they needed to in order to move forward, like,
which would destroy everything if not held back and kept in check. Right. Neither
of them were able to just say, let's not do that and just move forward, while also, like, trying to, like, limit is, like, just, like, save as many people as we can, like, to, like, move forward while making sure no one suffers. Because, again, the only reason they were able to move is, like, because even, like, Lord Genome, when he was talking about, like, the old days and shit like that, he was still saying that, like, he was still, like, talking more, like, logically, right? Because logically people would have to, like, logically people would have to, like, suffer, like, in order for things to.
It's almost like, to be successful, you need to have someone at the front digging forwards,
and then you have to push them from behind.
Someone in the back pushing everyone from behind.
To reject. It's
almost like that's what you need to do, and oh golly gee goodness, that's what fucking Kamina and Simon do.
Well, that's what everybody in Team Gurren does. They push.
No,
we reject logic and make the impossible possible. We reject logic and make the impossible possible. That's the way Team Daiguren rolls. And that's, like, their whole thing. It's like, the reason why is because even Lord Genome was like, you guys are fucking insane. like everything about them is just absurdity. They named his fucking ship. It's like, it is the Cathedral Terra, and they're like, fuck that. It is now the Choginga Daiguren.
Yeah, I love it.
It's because they it's like, if, like, you are both saying that these things are possible and that might happen, and there's a certain percentage that might kill us, but we're gonna do everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen.
That's
right?
why probability alteration missiles are so fucking good.
No, but Vindy, I don't like it when they try to explain away. Look, I don't know how anybody can complain about the fake science that happens in Gurren Lagann when there's literally. One of the funniest scenes is when, like, Leron's trying to explain how spiral power and, like, everything works, and every time it pans to the rest of them, they're, like, drooling out of their mouths,
including Viral, by the way. Which
Viral and Seon were also, like, kind of like the smartest ones were still just. Yeah.
When it cuts to Viral and Simon, and the Viral has his face on, like, ugh. And then, like, Liron has to look and goes like, oh yeah, basically fighting spirit. And they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Why didn't you just say that? Or like, the part where they're like talking about how teleportation works, or how they're able to find the imaginary space. And then they just look, and they're like, oh yeah, he's like, oh, okay, love makes everything possible. It's like, oh yeah, there we go.
Because they're stupid, big, dumb, idiot warriors. It's why Rossiu's not in the scene, because the joke wouldn't work, because he would actually be able to understand it. It's why later on, Rossiu's the only one who understands the science, even Liron doesn't.
It's so, because it's like, they all look back at Liron, and Liron's like, bro, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. And then Rossiu's the only one, because Rossiu, of course, is the one out of all of them who thinks 5 steps ahead, and who's someone who's needed, and that's why he takes over for the next generation. That's why President Rossiu is our president.
Hashtag not my president.
God, that tweet is so funny. Like Clyde the Weeb.
We need like a world under Simon, and it's everything just like destroyed, and then world under Rossiu, and it's like everything's good.
No,
not my
we got
president.
World under Lord Genome, and it's just everybody underground. World under Anti-Spiral, everybody blowing up. World under Rossiu. Right? Fucking God.
So who's left to talk about?
Yoko.
Yoko? I mean,
Yoko,
did I say?
Who's... Okay.
I kind of said my main thing, at least, with her being the sort of, like, one who's already, like, the most mature, reasoned warrior, you know?
Like, she's, like... She had, like... You know how... Like, she had, like, at this point, like... like, she was the one who was able to pull... She was the one who came and brought Kamina and Simon out of the underground. Like, it was that gunman falling through the ceiling and her coming down and showing them what the surface was that they were able to come out in the first place. Which is interesting to note because, like, it was those three. Like, they even mentioned that. It was like when they were able to, in episode 8, they're like, originally it was just us three. It was just us three in Team Daiguren. And now there's all these people, right? And okay, the one thing I wanted to say is that they're like, Nia's whole thing is that you can't keep clinging to a dead person, right? You have to keep moving forward. There's a line when in the Yomiko episodes where she's in the tree with the kid, and she's like, you know, I saw this view a long time ago, like with some friends of mine, and she said that bag that your dad gave you, like,
hold on to, you know,
hold on to what you
care about, but, you know, find new friends too. Like, you know, don't basically, you know, balance. Don't, you know, just be hold back on keeping what you have. You know, move forward too. Right?
Because that kid says like, I hate this town because Dad's not here. Right? And she's like, well, think about it this way. Do you hate your friends? Your mom was like, you were brought here and you were able to meet all of them because of your dad, right? Your dad bringing you here. And so like, if like, this is only like your dad being gone, you always have to remember him. But yeah, like he said, you have to like cling tight to him, cling tight to his memory. And like that pays off because like the one who saves her from the abyss, like she's like, there's that one part when during the infinite labyrinth where it shows her like flashing through all the possible futures that she has, and then like she turns off the TV and Kamina is the one holding the TV, and she looks at it and she says thank you, and she has the fucking cordial and she fucking like, it's so good because she's like, she realizes that like in order to move forward, she's like, I want to give these children something that I didn't have. And she's the one who pushes, she helps push the new generation forward, teaches them in order to make them like be prepared for the future that she didn't have. She's like you said, she acknowledges like what she's capable of and what she's not capable of. She's the only one who left the government, while the other members of Team Daiguren kind of just like stuck around because yeah.
They're stupid.
It's so dumb. They're so dumb. Like, it was like the fucking scene where during Simon's trial, and Kita's like, "Wait, hold the fuck on! You made Balambo his fucking lawyer. Your staff members are the the prosecutors, and you're the judge. What the fuck is going on? God. Yoko's good, and the one episode where she's like with Nia, like the episodes where she's talking to Nia and shit, like when she's just cutting Nia's hair is really good. Like there's just little moments where they're able to interact. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And did you realize that, like, another thing?
Okay, let's step back for a moment. What goes on a giant tirade about how Yoko's good, and then Vindy's whole contribution is just Yoko's hot.
In Yoko's Infinite Labyrinth, one of the possible futures was her marrying Kitan.
Yeah.
And then she like that's the one last thing she sees before she turns off and sees Kamina.
Yeah.
Well,
here's the thing, Crafts. I've been big-brained enough. I've made enough good fucking points, good connection. I've done my contribution. What's gonna keep trying to be big-brained? I'm tired of that shit. I want to get a little crazy now. You know?
No, it never ends, Vindy, and it will never end with me.
You're right, but look, this podcast in 2 hours, I'm gonna make it start wrapping up because I'm gonna start losing my mind until it ends.
No.
So you have 10 minutes.
No. Anyway, so
well,
Yoko
I want to make
good.
an observation because this is already almost as long as the Fire Force one on a much like shorter work, relatively speaking, like 27 episodes versus 23 like manga volumes that were like the first 10 or so were adapted into a 20 plus episode series, like
50 episode series.
Oh wait, Fire Force?
Fire Force is gonna be 50 episodes.
Oh
because
damn!
Of the new
Okay,
season.
I forgot. So it's like there's a lot to this series. It's good.
No, look, and here's the thing. The reason I have to wrap it up at the end of the day is because if I don't call it quits somewhere, you will go until like
the heat of the universe.
This will be a 4
until the spiral nemesis destroys us all.
So
right.
Yeah, so what is the warrior going forward? And we need some counterbalance to stop before
pull me back.
It all just
Fine.
gets destroyed.
Well, then we can then let's just talk about the last thing we should talk about then.
Well, are there any other characters we want to talk about? Like Kitan,
well, we could talk about Viral, but we mentioned Viral, but like
I think we already mentioned Viral a lot. Kitan we could talk about.
We didn't really talk about Kitan. We just kind of mentioned something about him that he's like trying to be.
Kitan's the one we should talk about before we move on to Simon and end it. Yeah.
It's so because like it sucks that he's introduced in episode 4 because there's parts where like he's trying to be cool with his siblings and they're like all over Kamina, and like from the beginning there's that inferiority complex that he has towards Kamina. But unlike Simon just looking up and then eventually believing himself, Kamina never had that until part 2. And
or Kitan or no?
Kamina. No, he means Kitan. He just can't talk. Don't worry.
Shut the fuck up.
Look, the whole podcast is you guys been saying names instead of other names.
Because we're losing our minds slowly.
No,
we're gonna.
I'm smart. I never said the wrong name.
You're not
You
smart.
definitely did.
Prove it to me. Right
I
now,
will when we fucking go through recording again, bitch.
Okay.
Well,
we'll see.
Anyway.
Time will prove
Kitan,
me right,
Kitan trying to take over as the leader of Team Gurren is such a good part because he's trying his best, and all he can say is that bastard Kamina would do this, or he would do this, and then they're like every time he says it, everybody's like super fucked, like butt fucked, like butt hurt about it. He's like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that, and like it's like at that, and the one who tells Simon that he should be the leader again is Kitan because he's like, you know what, you're the one Kamina picked, you're the one who was right for the job, so take over, leader, and then and like in part 2. Like, you see him, like, trying to, like, like, fighting with Rossi, like, saying, like, pointing out that all these things are wrong, and, like, trying to fight against him. But then he realizes that, like, at the end, he's like, you know what? I'm just a member of Team Gurren. There's nothing I can do as a leader. I'm stepping down. But give me that drill, because that's Team Gurren's soul. That's his soul that you're holding. And, like, a Chad man... He sees the fucking Mugan coming down, and he pulls out a shotgun, and he's like...
Well, but there's more, because it comes down to this entire thing where his entire fucking... Like, everything that Kitan is doing in part 2 is he is just chasing Kamina's death. He
wants a heroic death.
The only way he sees that he can be like Kamina is to die like Kamina. And it's only once he actually realizes...
What he can do.
He can die to help people, as opposed to just dying to die.
Like, there's literally that part where, like...
That he kisses Yoko and goes out in a blaze of glory.
Like, it's because like there's that part where he like again he pulls out the shotgun. He's like, guys, go ahead. I'm gonna kill them I'm gonna hold them back and I might die. But then he's saved by the rest of Team Gurren. And then there's like the parts in space where they're trying to fight. And then Keaton's like saying like, what guys, where are you going? And they all die for him, right? They're all dying to save the rest of Team Gurren.
And he's trying to go with, and they're telling him no.
They're telling him, no, you have to save the rest of them. And then
only after he inspired Gimme and Derry the same way that everyone's inspired by Kamina, he's able to die.
It's when he gets like Simon's drill and he takes it with him, and he's like, this drill. They took this as a good luck charm. This drill is Team Gurren's soul. This is Simon's soul. And no, actually, it's my soul. And then he unlocks spiral power and uses the King Kitan Giga Drill break. And then dies like a badass and says, and then like has that moment where he's like, this is the power of the spiral, huh? Pretty cool. And then he fucking dies like a Chad. It's because it's like,
just like Madoka, suicide is badass.
Suicide is badass.
Oh, by the way, I'd have to track down the clip, but there is a clip from one of the Getter Robo Musashi Sacrifice specifically that's was probably an influence to that moment. With the the
Musashi Sacrifice is 100% like that.
Yeah,
like Musashi Sacrifice is a fucking meme. If you watch like what the fuck Super Robot Girl Z.
Oh yeah.
There's literally a part where like Getchan's like
damn, I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. I just know
minions,
it. Okay, do you know what it is though?
Her butlers are
because for anyone watching it, basically Super Robot Girl Z is a robot where all the cute girls are mecha from other series.
Different like mecha from those series. Yeah, like we got fuck, I can't even think right now. I can't think, but
I have to look it up because it's mostly series I don't really know.
Basically, it's Mazinger, like Mazinger Z, Mazinger, all the different Mazingers, all the
fucking boomer mechas.
Exactly.
Basically, yeah. No Evangelion, thank God. But and it's like there's literally a part where like the butlers are like, the butlers are the three pilots of Getter Robo Ryo, and then Musashi, and Musashi just fucking dies, and it recreates the moment where he dies, and you just see his face superimposed on this explosion, and then you just see them crying and shit because he died in the stupidest way possible in the Robot Girl Z. God, okay, but Kitan attempting to Kitan's fucking Giga Drill break. Also, can we talk about how King Kitan is one of the fucking most big brain mecha designs of all time? Because he looks like it's literally like they comment on it that looks like the most cobbled together thing they've ever seen, and it's just a giant star with a face on it. Like he's overcompensating. Well, it's like the most overcompensating robot ever. It's great.
The best design at the end of the day, the best goddamn design in Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann for robots is Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. I won't hear any different. Look, in movie 2, because, I think it's fair to talk about the movie as well. In movie 2, when he fucking turns into Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, and he, does that, sidestep, and, is bigger than galaxies. I think I saw something, he's, 6 fucking galaxies tall.
Have you seen the mecha size comparison video?
Coolest? No, I haven't. But that is the coolest goddamn thing I have ever seen in my life.
Okay, you need to look at the fucking mecha size comparison thing because they only play the theme from the OST from Gurren Lagann, and the last thing you see on that, they start saying the known universe, all of existence, and then just fucking Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, and then the Giga Drill break for Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's the coolest thing I've ever... And I loved it in movie 2. Here's the other thing I want to say. I loved it in movie 2. The anti-spirals drill breaks Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. It breaks Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. It breaks Galaxy Gurren Lagann.
Shogun Gurren Lagann.
It breaks that one. And it's broken by just plain old Gurren Lagann.
It's mirroring the fucking Rasengan fight, and it's so fucking good. Okay, agree with me on this, because I know all the mecha fuckers will see this video and be like, but Gurren Lagann has one of the best designs I've seen.
I do like the Gurren Lagann mech design. I even look because I looked at the Zambot mech and the helmet is similar, but I do think I like the rest of the mech design good as well.
I haven't seen too many mecha, but honestly, if I had to compare it to the other mecha I have seen and read, it's not my favorite. I'm not
gonna say like, oh, it's the best in my favorite. I just think it's really good. Like,
it's good, but like, I would say I prefer Gunbusters.
Well, I don't have a favorite, is what I'm saying. Like, I don't think about it at all.
But I'm saying like, you know, I don't think it's bad. I think it's good. But like, you know, if mecha people are like, well, Gunbusters design is better, or I think the RX, what is it, the RX 78, RX 79, whatever the Gundam in 0079 is, I like more. I like Char's red fucking what are they called? Zaku, yeah, in 79 more. I like Getter more.
Which
Big
Getter?
Zam is
the
better.
original
You
Getter?
like ball? You like
Getter?
fucking ball, Vindy?
Yeah. No, that was a joke. No, yeah, I like the original Getter. Getter 2's a cutie boy. I love Getter 2. Getter 1 is great. So yeah, I mean, I Gurren Lagann's a great fucking mech. I would not say that I think, like, okay, Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann is great because it looks like fucking Kamina. Right?
I knew we all knew that what it was, Vindy.
Right, but it's because it's built on the back of Kamina, and it's through the spiral energy that's generated in everyone as they take the past Kamina and all the other people who looked up to Kamina and look towards the future as Kamina was. That's why Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann's great. However, I wouldn't say that like mech design is Gurren Lagann's strength. Like, they're not bad, they're good, but they're not great, you know? Like, I've seen better mechas.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, you're an idle fag, so you don't have rights when it comes to mecha.
Yeah, you killed mecha, yeah.
Yeah. You know, it doesn't matter because the best mecha design of all time is Abareno, so who cares?
Is that Dino Thunder?
That's Abareno, yeah.
Put goddamn Dino Thunder on my screen?
Yes,
I
did.
Best Power Rangers with the best Power Rangers opening?
It's fucking Abareno. Look at this fucking... Look at how good it is! It's got a big dumb T-Rex face in the center.
What the fuck is... Excuse me, what the fuck is Abareno? I know that is the Dino Thunder Megazord.
Well,
Vindy, that's not even its actual name.
No, it's the Dino Thunder Megazord. I'm sorry. Right.
Is it? No, wait. I don't believe you.
If I look up the Dino Thunder Megazord...
Yeah, that's what's gonna show up, but that's probably not what it's fucking called.
Bet bitch. Thundersaurus.
It's a Thundersaurus
Megazord.
You're stupid! It's the Thundersaurus Megazord!
Megazord.
Look, that's a fucking Chad name too, the Thundersaurus Megazord. God, it's so cool!
Can we call him that? Can we call him the Thundersaurus Megazord? Because that's a better name than fucking whatever the fuck you said.
Abareno, who cares?
None of you have seen Ava Rangers, so yeah, Thundersaurus Megazord.
But I've seen Dino Thunder.
I've seen Dino Thunder, bitch. It's got Tommy. He's the Black
in the
Ranger.
distance.
You heard
He's
half
the
of what
Nemaji Ranger.
You heard
With
half
the
of what I
force
said.
of
You heard half of what I said.
Centuries gone by.
Power Rangers roar.
Dino Rangers score. Save us from these evil forces.
Yeah, God, what a great opening. Best Power Rangers opening.
Just like this okay, have I told you? And I know I'm gonna get some flack for this because you're gonna say no, I don't agree. But Survivor Days is possibly my favorite opening of all time.
Oh wow,
it's okay to be wrong.
Well, wait, hold on, Vindy, hold on. What? Repeat what you said.
I said Survivor Days might be one of my favorite openings of all time.
Okay, so Vindy, what did you say?
It's okay to be wrong.
You're gonna sit there and tell what you know his favorite's better than him.
No, but I would sit here and tell what that Aozora Jumping Heart's a better opening.
See, you might have an argument there, but also Mirai Bokuroi Shiteruyo is better than Aozora Jumping Heart. So,
I mean, you're also right there, so...
So, never mind. Mirai Bokuroi...
yeah.
Shiteruyo is the best opening of all
it's
time.
just like, look, if you don't like Survivor Days as much, but you're gonna say what's wrong about his own my favorite manga is One Piece. Well, Craftsdwarf, you're allowed to be wrong. What?
Yeah, it's okay to be wrong.
Vindy, I'm going to kill you.
No.
Look, okay, also, real quick, tell me which version of Survivor Days is better right now. Tell me.
Masaki Endo.
No, that's not what I meant. I mean, like, in terms of the opening itself. The Masaki Endo version's pretty good, but I like the Tengen Toppa Gurren... Tengen Toppa version the best.
I
don't know
There's three versions. So there's the version with Kamina, the version with Nia, and then the part 2 version.
I thought you were talking about the song. Okay.
Well, if I had to rank them, it would go visually they get worse as the show goes on.
Well, you're a dumb asshole, so you're wrong. Because because I like
one of those things.
Version 3 is my favorite of them all.
Well,
look, the part where it it has the cordial, it lines up with every single moment that comes before it, flashing before it, and it ends with Simon's awakening before the title card shows up.
The best part in opening 3 is the shot where it's Simon in space shit walking like, oh my god, I feel like he's walking on stars. I could be wrong.
No, he's walking on every single memory that he has that led him up to that point.
Yeah.
And it turns into stars, and the light and the Gurren Lagann's light shoots off into the heavens. Like,
yeah, that's the key part.
Look, it's so good because here's the coolest part about Gurren Lagann's openings. Part 2 uses the second half's lyrics.
Yeah.
And it's so
not unusual.
Yeah, and that's pretty obvious to anyone who actually listens to the opening.
But have you read the lyrics? Have you read the lyrics?
Yeah.
Have you read the lyrics for Survivor Days, one of the greatest anime openings of all time?
Yeah, I have, because it showed up on my screen.
Well, you're stupid. Because
I'm sorry.
It's so good because the first two openings are talking about, the thing that's calling you out of the darkness, right? And the whole theme of the first part. And then the second half is it starts off with, I don't have time to lament everything that came before, and I won't waver again. And I have all and I won't waver with all these regrets that I have in my arms. It's everything that they're holding on to that when they've come so far. I'm gonna fucking piss my pants. God. You don't understand this. How much
can we
I
say how
adore.
okay, another thing can we all agree on?
We've been going for 2 hours and 5 minutes, so we should probably wrap it up.
How long is the Fire Force opening? We will make it longer.
No.
Yes.
The first ending isn't very good.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Thank you. Okay.
The best ending is Happily Ever After. Happily Ever After is the best.
Anyway,
song
I'm about to ready to get on to final thoughts.
Happily Ever After is so good. Okay, look, one of the coolest moments of all time is when when Nia's like, Simon, please take me to my father. I want to talk to him.
Oh,
and Rossi's like, no, we can't. We gotta come up with a strategy. And then Leon's like, Rossi, it's a good man's duty when a girl makes up her mind to help her succeed. And then
I love Leron.
And then God, Leron's so good. Everyone in this show is so good. Okay, and then the window opens.
Trans rights.
And then the window opens, and then she jumps out of the hand, and Happily Ever After starts, and she gets in with Simon, and then there's that shot where the coolest shot that I ever see is whenever Gurren Lagann stands up. It's the coolest thing. Just
one second. Give me a second. I have
this mecha stands, and it's the coolest thing ever. Yeah, no, because it goes from a close up, and the way you know how it zooms out like that as he's standing up with it. It's the coolest thing ever. And then everybody's helping, and there's all these the fact that fucking Daiguren, it's Daiguren's last stand is the mecha, and then it fucking its dick explodes inside his hand. It's so good.
Me after this recording.
Oh.
Yeah, dog, I had to get up and take a piss and get another drink in the middle of this fucking recording. This shit's gone on for 800 years.
Okay.
It has not gone on for 800 years.
So, yeah, I'm ready to call it.
Let's go to final five.
What?
Well,
look, I know you have
both.
more to say. Look, I know you have more to say.
I have more to say too, but at the end of the day, we have to end the episode somewhere. This is long as shit.
It was a good episode. There was not as much arguing and fighting as I thought there was going to be.
Well, because you didn't say your real opinion.
I did.
Tell what right now that you think communists just discount Yabuki Joe.
I've already heard that already. It doesn't bother me because unlike you, I don't
that was
stand
the meme
Kamina.
version of my legit opinion that I just like Joe better.
No, I know, but Craftsdwarf, just wanted you to come in here and give your meme fucking opinions.
Look,
Craftsdwarf never
had any of my triggers. Craftsdwarf never hit any of the triggers for me because like my triggers are literally just Unga Bunga. Simon should have just brought Kamina back to life. Simon's just a worse version of Kamina. Nia doesn't do anything. Yoko doesn't do anything. The second half of Gurren Lagann's shit because they should have just said more explosions. Rasu bad because you should have just listened to Simon the entire time because
What about Kill la Kill is better? Is that a trigger?
That's a big trigger. Yeah, it's a really big trigger.
Well, it is.
Yeah, would you say it's a trigger? Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm Vindy. I make you a big joke. Oh no.
Funny joke.
And really, like the stuff that I did take, quote unquote issue with is like what didn't really just like he. It didn't.
I didn't really.
He understood where it came from.
I can see how you could come up to that conclusion. Like, yeah.
Well, to go back to one thing I don't think I said is like one way they maybe could have fixed my issue is like maybe during the wedding there's just it doesn't even have to be like a lot, just like a few frames of like Simon and Nia like maybe crying over like just in their house, just like just embracing each other, like just one little thing like that shows here's them struggling over this hard choice. That's all I needed.
You need to watch because you need to rewatch movie 2 because there's that moment where they come back and Nia's like talking about everything that happened.
Okay, maybe
And then when she shows Simon the wedding dress, right, and they both have this look on their faces like they know what's about to happen, and they're like they've resolved to just go forward. They're like, it's oh my god.
Can we pick something else out of the story no Toshima? There have been too many goddamn collective brain cells in the Weeb Club recently. We need to dial this shit back. I'm tired of this. Oh, the Weeb Club's gonna be smart and do actual analysis of the shows or what? What the fuck podcast is this? This is some fucking bullshit.
I can't believe when you said let's get dumb. I didn't
yell at someone once. I got mad at Imaishi for ruining Space Yoko, but like, fuck this, dude. Like, I'm mad that I didn't get angry.
I can't believe Vindy's...
Okay, we can talk about MHA
I can't believe Vindy's like angry about he wants to do
He's
toxic
angry about not getting angry. It's
Did
hilarious.
you know
this podcast was too civil? Okay.
Did you know that Gurren Lagann challenges the shonen protagonist and deconstructs it?
I don't know how to function when the Weeb Club
Okay, can we talk about this article, this shitty fucking article?
No, well, I mean, yeah, it's shitty. It's perfect.
Huh?
Kamina he's like Yabuki Joe. Yabuki Joe is the main character. Kamina is like the main character. He is the main character. Themes. I don't know any themes. I wrote this article. What's themes? I don't storytelling. I don't understand. Kamina main character. Steamon not good. Kamina good. I don't understand.
I think. Oh yeah, I think another thing I forgot to mention this is that like. When I told one of the times a while ago is that I would bring up like Demo's review of Kill la Kill. I was like, yeah, this is issues I have with Kill la Kill. And then the entire time my friend just went, "That's Gurren Lagann." like the animation.
And I can't wait for us to at some point in half a year watch Kill la Kill, and we'll realize that
I'm still right.
No, that I'm.
Look, Vindy, if you want us to argue, pick Kill la Kill.
Look, I'm going to engage every brain cell in my body.
Please don't.
Kill la Kill.
Please don't.
We're gonna get so insane. Look,
please don't.
I'm going to get so ascended.
Please don't.
With Kill la Kill, I'm going to change WattheWut's mind.
No.
And I'm going to show him that at the end of the day, the problem is that Imaishi is a madman and goes 10 in style and substance, and people miss it because the problem is he never Imaishi's biggest problem, I think, at the end of the day is that he goes so hard into his style, but he never states anything as clearly as he states it in Gurren Lagann, right? And
well,
Gurren
I also
Lagann,
don't care about any of the characters in Kill la Kill.
Well, you should care about Ryuko because she's hot, bites a lemon, and punches boys. But the thing is, like, at the end of the day, right, I don't think Imaishi, like any complaint anyone has with Gurren Lagann, right, someone could be like, oh, Simon should have brought everyone back. A character literally told Simon to do that, and he explained why he shouldn't, right? Any issue you could have has already been explained away in the show. I don't think that exists for Kill la Kill. And I will also argue that complaints against Kill la Kill's structure are wrong because Kill la Kill is a delinquent manga the same way that fucking Gurren Lagann is to a super robot.
A deconstruction of the shonen protagonist.
It's just the problem is nobody's read delinquent manga. All right.
Well, you're dumb.
Okay, wrap up. Final thoughts.
Final
me
thoughts.
first, because
Vindy's
I'm
a thought. Yoko's a thought. Nia's not a thought. She's a pure girl.
I see Yoko. I fucking bent down and grab my ankle.
What does that mean? What does that fucking mean?
I don't know.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. Anyway,
This podcast
so
was too simple.
my final thoughts. I give it a decent 8. Leaning to strong 8 after, like, cause like I thought I was picking up stuff, but no, there's like, it's a very well constructed show. It's good, it's fun, it's enjoyable. Like, and I'm, like I said before the spoilers, is I'm the one who enjoys it the least, and I still consider it like a must watch, like, because it's so, it's good. Just yeah.
Unlike stupid boring Cowboy Bebop that everybody like wants.
Oh, that's like
says.
skip.
That's a show we should fucking watch. For the
No, I
Weeb
don't want to
Club.
bore myself for 26 episodes.
It's, oh my god, it's so boring. It's,
Well,
I
I've
give it like a
dropped
6. Like,
I've dropped it. What's dropped it?
No, I haven't dropped it. I watched it all the way through. I just wasn't paying attention.
Patrons.
I
No.
was paying attention, and I don't think it's very good.
Patrons.
No.
Patrons.
No.
If you want to see
No.
an interesting episode,
No.
because I can't pick Cowboy Bebop, because then we come in here and
No.
it's like, Vindy, why did you pick Patrons?
No.
If you want to see an interesting episode of the Weeb Club,
Stop it.
pick Cowboy Bebop.
Stop that.
Vindy, final
Don't
thoughts
do
on
that.
Gurren Lagann.
I gave it a 9. It's very. Wait, are you sure it's me? Isn't it you? What me?
No,
You're so stupid.
Oh my, Vindy, we literally did this 2 hours ago with
I hate
Plunderer. We literally, the same order we've always done for fucking half a year now. Vindy, we've been doing this
I'm gonna
podcast for
stab
half
you in
a
the
year.
back, just like.
Okay. I give Gurren Lagann a 9. I think it's fucking phenomenal. I think it's one of the most tightly constructed shows where, like, every little thing you see matters in some way. I think the show is a drill in the way that you have all these pieces that spiral together at a point to create the show and to create the central theme of the show. It's just missing. The only reason I don't give Gurren Lagann a 10 is because for me, it's missing that, like, hard emotional attachment I have to it that I have with 10s.
That I guess or to interrupt, because I guess I didn't mention. Yeah, that's kind of where I am with. Well, because I like Simon and Nia. I got teary eyed like twice, but but there were, especially like the moments I talked about. There's just not quite there for me. But anyway, go ahead. Well, that was my voice.
So I'm missing. I'm. That's why I'm not giving it a 10. Right. That's the only reason. Because What's about to give it a 10. We know that it's a second favorite anime. The only reason that I can't sit here and say that I think Gurren Lagann's a 10 is because it's missing something that I would say my 10s have, and I can't pinpoint it like a thing, right? It's not that I have a flaw, right? I joke that it's Space Yoko, but it's not about that.
I mean, that's a pretty big flaw. You gotta be fair.
No, it is. But, I could name flaws with other things, right? Like Barakumon's anime. Not
Like
complete.
another flaw is
Still
that
a
we
10.
never see Simon.
That we never see Simon's dick. Yeah.
You never
So-
see Simon's drill go inside Nia. Like we never see
Right,
that.
exactly. Yeah. Did they have sex? I assume so, but I don't know. Maybe Simon's a fucking.
Maybe
a
that's
loser,
why Nia
you know?
disappeared, because it's like, I'm gonna give you the power of the spiral, and then
Right. So, it's missing that little thing.
When
My
Simon
emotional-
ejaculates, does the semen form a spiral in the air?
Yeah, no, it you know how, like, his blood made a drill in movie 2? And he used
his
that
cum
drill.
forms a drill.
Right. His cum forms a drill, and, like...
There better be some dojins with this.
And then happily ever after
No,
plays
there
when
aren't.
it
I'm
happens.
sorry. As someone who's read every Gurren Lagann doujin looking for the best Yoko one.
Look, this is what was cut out of Gurren Lagann. Simon and Nia are about to fuck, and then happily ever after plays when it starts.
Okay, what final thoughts?
So, would you agree that you would think that this is probably one of the most WattheWut anime out there? Would you agree with that statement, sir? Sir, my friend, sir.
No.
No?
Not bad like other WattheWut anime.
There's no idols.
Well,
0 out of 10.
That's not true! Craftsdwarf, that is
Wait.
verifiably false. In the music video that is on the Blu-rays called
Oh.
Stars, where you see Yoko be a hot fucking slut, there are idols.
Well, that's not. Shut up. Okay. Go on, what?
it is a 10 out of 10. I can literally, like, people, I have an interesting, because, like, when people do, because, like, People who unironically have like rating systems and think that like there has to be rigidly are fucking stupid. Because the only reason why I think things are 10s is that if they're so good that anything that's wrong with it, I just don't care because it's just that good.
You just don't care about episode 4 because you skip it every time, right?
No, I didn't skip it this time.
But you did tell me that like you've watched it like 10, 11, 12 times now, but you do skip episode 4 a lot.
I was thinking about the fucking Over the Rainbow movie when I was thinking about.
You say that number a lot, and I always like, okay, I don't know what to take.
Well, maybe because Love Live is literally number 10, but like is a thing. Maybe I'm mind broken. Maybe there's something.
You are because you said number.
You're the 10th member of Uranohoshi, okay?
Yes, I am.
Also, did you notice that our scores start smaller and get bigger?
Like it.
That's the opposite of a drill. What do you mean like a drill? Are you fucking retarded? Do you know how drills work?
Towards tomorrow. That's Tengen Toppa. That's Gurren Lagann. My drill is a drill that creates
about Gurren Lagann's your second favorite anime and only isn't your favorite anime of all time. And you just said that starting smaller and getting bigger is like a drill. Are you fucking retarded? Does your brain work right? Do I need to take you to the hospital? Hello?
Well, I kind of explained it earlier where how something small can become bigger if you go forward, is more what I was thinking.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mentioned it already and you didn't say a thing.
Go forward towards tomorrow.
Like the human race.
Anyway, this is the longest episode. Thank you for listening.
Did you
goodbye.
Know? No, it's not goodbye yet. Today we're going to talk about how Dari is hot.